Hello and welcome back to What's This Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our last episode, which I believe was zombies.
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories, that's it. I keep forgetting because we record quite
so
a
much
few.
content.
Yeah, just so much for you guys. But yeah, today I'm joined by none other than our usual hosts, such as
John,
Jim,
Ronnie,
and me, Ethan, the best one, the one and only. Today we are doing a podcast on gaming, so video games, just games in general.
we are
not board games, computer games.
Yeah, not board
we
games,
could
all
do
computer
one on,
games.
we should do one on board games next. Actually, that's a good idea. I like that idea because that's becoming really big again now.
I love
yeah.
board games.
I like a board game.
Yeah,
especially
I'm a
at
fan.
Christmas.
I'm a fan.
also like card games. You know,
I
your
like a
standard
card
family card game. Anyway, we're getting off topic already.
We
I
are
know.
going off topic. We do this all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Jeez, I think that's the way we do.
Someone
things.
should be leading this.
I'll do it.
Okay.
So the reason we wanted to do video games is because obviously it's massive and it's a big thing, especially now on the internet. It's more
Especially with
prevalent than
lockdown
ever.
as well.
And in lockdown, yeah, people
think
do it.
everyone's
Twitch
playing
is a big
games.
thing now, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a bit. But it's a fairly new. It's not. I said this before. It's not a fairly new phenomenon, but it is. It's a generational thing. We're the first generation to have grown up with this. So me being 40, Ronnie, James, all being sort of 40 years old now. We grew up with it in the 80s. Is when video games became prevalent. In arcade machines became like more than just Pong.
I think our arcade machines were probably 70s, maybe a bit earlier.
Yeah,
But when the
80s,
home
they went.
computer came in, that's when everything took off. You know.
Yeah, and when the Atari,
You got your
and Spectrum, and the
Amigas.
Commodore,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's where we are. It's a massive business now, probably bigger or as big at least than the film industry, Hollywood and worldwide. It's massive. So it's definitely something we wanted to touch on. All of us here have got various different degrees of experience playing these games.
Some more than others, I'd say.
Yeah, some of them. That's the beauty of this. We've got people that like James doesn't really
I'm
play
more
video
modern
games
gaming
at all.
now.
Hey?
I'm definitely more modern gaming.
Yeah, you're
Compared to
more
you
modern
guys, I
gaming.
wouldn't play. Yeah, I don't. Really play
I'm more
any-
old school gaming, and Ronnie straddles them both because he's always been into gaming and he still is. So I wanted to just start by asking Ronnie what his first because Ronnie's one of the biggest gamers we know, or one of the biggest gamers I know. When was your first foray into gaming? When was your first recollection of playing video games?
That's going to be the Commodore 64. I think I was about 8, so
Yeah,
probably
boy.
1988 maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, when you used to have to buy your games on a cassette. And then
Yeah.
basically
You sell them
sit
at
for-
corner shops.
Oh yeah, that was the amazing thing. I don't know I don't know why it was,
1.99.
but for some reason our corner shop in Leicester Forest East, middle of nowhere, had a rack of Commodore 64 and Spectrum cassette games.
Yeah.
For like a few quid.
Madness.
Yeah.
Never had a Commodore 64. Never did.
They were brilliant and shit all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It's the kind of thing that you look back on with fond memories, but if you had one now, you'd chuck it out the window because literally sitting a cassette and it would take you for about 5 minutes for it to load. You could literally go off and make a cup of tea or something.
Yeah,
it
it was, and then you come back to find out it hadn't loaded properly.
We
Yeah.
had an Amiga,
Amiga was the big daddy.
but before the Amiga, we had the, I want to say Oracle.
I don't know, Ronnie. Ever heard of that? I've never heard of that.
I think
It had
so.
the only game I can remember with that one is Don't Press the Letter Q, which my mum loved because Q was for quit. And you weren't meant to press it because it was a very annoying game.
Interesting. Well, I think the beauty of the Commodore when it came out was because the games are so cheap and it was so easy to code for the Commodore. People were just popping up left, right, and centre, weren't there? It was
the birth of the bedroom coders. Half the games out there were written by a single guy sitting in his bedroom at night writing it all.
That was my brother. He used to do some coding for the Spectrum.
Did he?
Yeah, we had a Spectrum 128. We had an Amiga.
Yeah.
And then a Spectrum 128K. I don't know which one was first, but I think it was
So
probably.
what was your first? Because you say you never were into video games.
No, the only
Ever?
thing. Yeah, well, I played a few games on the computers. I think it was mainly the Amiga that I played on. But the only ones that I can really remember are World Cup Rugby.
On the Amiga.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember the front cover
you had to
was a guy getting punched in the face.
You had to shake the
No, I know.
joystick from side to side.
Yeah.
If you
well
had to,
annoying.
yeah. And I loved it. I was well good at that. And Decathlon, was it Daley Thompson's Decathlon?
Oh, yeah.
They're
That was a big one. wasn't
they're
it?
the only two I really remember. Ethan's
Nice.
gone sleep.
No.
Wake him up, John. Give him a shove.
No.
There was a great game as well. I think it might have been on the Atari called Alley Cat. That was one
Alley
of my
Cat was
most memorable
good.
ones. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Really
it's
simple
kind of-
graphics, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like first of all, it was like jumping from washing lines or something, trying to.
Platform game, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit like
But then you jumped inside
Hop-
one of the rooms. And once you're inside one of the rooms, it then changed to be like different puzzles.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so Ethan,
Yes.
a child of the noughties, what's your first recollection of video gaming?
What was your first console?
PS2, I think.
Wow.
PS2.
I can remember you playing, yeah.
possibly. Oh yeah, I had a PS2 back then.
I think my Liam had a PS2. I used to always go around Hayden as well. We always used to play Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Banging game.
Is that your first recollection of video gaming?
Yeah, I used to play. I can't remember what Bash Runner or something like that. Is it called that?
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to play
I
that.
swear to God, that's Billie Eilish's song. You listen to Billie Eilish. What was the song? The one that goes, I'm a bad guy. And then it's Crash Bandicoot.
Is it?
Yeah, I swear to God, listen to it.
Oh no,
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Bet she sampled it. Sorry,
It's all right.
sorry, Ethan.
Yeah, I
So
used to
Crash
play that
Bandicoot.
all the time. I still obviously game now quite a lot. So
But that was your first recollection thereof.
yeah.
Same as Ronnie for me. Commodore 64 was my first
Time
first
Crisis.
dive into it. Time Crisis, the video game.
Yeah.
On the arcades. I used to love arcades. I used to sit in because I never could afford to play on them. Just sit and watch them. My first obsession of a game, like truly obsessed, was Street Fighter 2.
Yo, you remember you loved that.
I was obsessed with watching it on the arcade, and I was obsessed because it was the first proper game that you could do like combinations and moves and people. Oh, do you know how to do this move and that move and all the characters?
Double
just-
tap this and
Yeah, for a
flick that.
12-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, it was like, this is just incredible. It was amazing.
I like Paperboy. And you
Oh, I
got
love
to-
Paperboy.
Got to throw papers at people's windows and
Great
crack
game.
them and stuff.
Yeah.
That was
So what
about
was the first game that was just that you remember, Ron? It doesn't have to be the first game, but a game from that era that is just like synonymous with, you just love it. Everything about it. It was just fantastic.
I think probably was Alley Cat. That was the one. I don't think it was on the Commodore 64. It was on somebody else had an Atari, and I just remember seeing it and thinking, this is amazing. This is a whole world that I can interact with.
Yeah.
Which was pretty simple. It was just like a cat jumping around and stuff, but it was it was so
I
different.
think mine might have been Platoon.
I mean, Platoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Because the
That was
music
brilliant.
and everything, the music about it, and it was quite such a simple gameplay. So good that was.
There's a
I
few
think the
now.
Platoon theme tune is still my ringtone on my phone.
Is it?
Yep.
There's a few games now that we've started talking about this. I'm popping back into my head. Golden Axe.
Oh, classic.
Golden Axe was that's Amiga again. You were an Amiga boy, so yeah, that was full Amiga. That was
Was it?
brilliant.
Yeah. That Golden Axe was incredible.
That was a
Getting all the
great
little pots and then
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Wasn't that Sega as well? Wasn't Golden Axe Sega?
It did come onto the Master System 2, I think. I don't think it was on the first one, but it was definitely on the Master System 2.
Yeah, it was
'cause
released in 1989 by Sega.
I'd have been 11. Yeah, I'd have been 11.
So yeah, it was
Wow.
literally an arcade game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So-
But the best game for me, not necessarily growing up, but in my teens, early 20s, mainly teens, was on the N64, and it was GoldenEye.
GoldenEye was such a big game for everybody. Yeah,
James
everybody
Bond?
loved
James Bond
I
GoldenEye.
played that.
Because you
That
could-
is a banging game.
Because it was multiplayer, and
Yeah.
you could.
It
And
was the
that
first deathmatch type, or one of the very
I
first.
think
like,
that came
I know
out on
Doom and
PS2 as
Quake
well,
were,
didn't
but-
it? Or one of the PlayStations.
was it?
I'm sure it did.
I have no idea what it was on. I think it was on. No, it was on the N64.
It
Yeah,
wasn't the N64. Yeah, it was the biggest game of the N64.
because
by
it was
far.
it was amazing because 4 people could play it.
People would get N64s just for GoldenEye.
Exactly, and I think that's the reason we got
Yeah.
one.
Did it
Yeah.
come out on PlayStation 1?
I've still got an N64 in the loft, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That might be worth a bit of dollar.
Mm,
Ronnie
maybe.
collects them. Ronnie does collect consoles.
I might give it to Potter. I'm not sure.
I did for a while. Not kind of.
Dwindled a bit.
Yeah.
My friend Carl does. My friend Carl
Oh, yeah, Carl's.
loves his retro games. He's got everything, and he's got some quite rare video games as well. His favourite by far, and you can't really argue with him, was the SNES.
Oh,
The
yeah.
SNES was just at that time when the 16-bit processor was just good enough to be able to make gaming fun on many levels. You could do some 3D gaming with like things like Star Fox and things like that. But your walk along shooters and your platform games, all of those things, the SNES just handled them perfectly. And it had those sort of, it wasn't quite the 3D graphics that the PlayStation really like brought to market. It was those sort of quite rounded cartoon graphics that when they were done really well, still haven't really dated that much.
I don't know
It's
what
like
a SNES is.
Super Nintendo.
Nope.
So you had the
Entertainment
Nintendo,
System.
yeah, you had the Nintendo
No.
Entertainment System, then you had the SNES.
It's literally gone above my head. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, really? That,
Yeah.
yeah. So it came out at the same time as like the Mega Drive. It was the Mega Drive and the Master.
Oh, I remember the Mega
SNES.
Drive.
Yeah, same era,
Oh,
same
okay.
thing. Almost the same console, except obviously Sega made their games and Nintendo made their games.
Yeah, there's,
It's
I
one of the
don't
things.
know if
You
this-
were either Sega or Nintendo, weren't you? You were
Yeah.
on one track or the other. So you had
I don't know.
what was the first? It was the Master System, wasn't it? Sega Master System, and then that
Yeah.
kind of developed into the Mega Drive. Whereas
Yeah.
the SNES was the NES that then evolved into the Super E NES.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is still a thing, but obviously games used to be specific to consoles. They didn't really tend to cross over a lot.
Yeah.
Does that still happen now?
They have cross-platform. It's a
Yes.
massive thing now.
Well, I mean,
So literally, you could play any game, and PC players can play with you. Xbox players, if you're on PlayStation.
Yeah.
there are still
massive.
platform exclusives though. It's still quite a big thing that there are certain games you'll only play on a PlayStation, and only
That can be.
Yeah, but that's always. I think that's quite a good thing.
I
It
think
depends what you like, really. If you like a PlayStation, then that's your thing, isn't
the
it?
consoles are so close. I mean, you can argue whether Xbox is better than PlayStation or PlayStation is better than Xbox. So the deciding factor now literally comes down to, well, I'm going to get an Xbox because it's got this title, or I can't not go without this title, so I'm going to get a PlayStation. Literally, that is the deciding factor. Or what do my mates play? And then that just
It
comes
used to be
just
that,
comes
didn't it?
down to-
Without-
then it's just
Because
marketing.
obviously you didn't have cross-platform. It used to be what do all my mates play because you want to play with your mates.
Yeah, but now you
So
don't.
if
Now
they
you
all have
can.
PlayStations,
Now it
then
don't matter.
you want to get PlayStation.
So now you can play FIFA on a Xbox and on a PlayStation against your mates. So it doesn't really matter what platform you're on.
What games are specific to what platforms? Do we know?
Ronnie will
So the
tell
new
you.
Spider-Man is only PlayStation, but I think that's just because it's Sony, and obviously
Look-
Sony owns Spider-Man.
I think Last of Us is
Well,
a
isn't it?
PlayStation
Last
exclusive
of
as
Us
well.
is PlayStation, yeah.
Yeah, there's some kind of it's like the series.
Halo was only Xbox.
Yeah. And PC.
That was their big title.
Yeah.
I mean, Xbox and PC are almost like the same thing because I mean most consoles are technically just PCs, but Xbox being Microsoft is even closer.
So then we move from, but it's supposed to be any like that Super Nintendo era, I suppose, encapsulated the whole going around your mate's house, playing video games, and like sitting on the bed, waiting for your turn, playing 2-player because you had your 2 controllers, or if you were lucky enough, your mate had a multi-tap and you
Oh,
could
yeah.
get 4 players playing at the same time, or 8, depending on what you were playing.
Did any of you ever own a Game Boy?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
My mum owned a Game Boy.
'Cause I bought you one, didn't I, last year?
Yeah, Color Game Boy.
But you
Yeah.
ain't played it, have you?
Yeah, my mum
It's got
had a Game
Pokemon
Boy,
on that.
and she just used to play Tetris on it non-stop.
It's funny you should say that, Jim. That's the second biggest selling game of all time.
Well, it's a great mind-numb. You know, you don't. Need,
Absolutely.
it's just a puzzle-solving game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's
I've got actually that's quite interesting. So I've got a little list here of video games, like top selling video games of eras.
So you got top selling, I got top franchise.
So what were the top 3 biggest selling games of the 80s?
in the 80s.
Yeah,
I mean, there's got to be a Mario in there somewhere.
Mario is number 1.
Yeah.
Sonic.
No, Tetris is number 2, and Duck Hunt is number 3.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Is that the
Hunt was
shooting
one of the
game?
yeah, it was on the
Yeah.
NES, which was the
Yeah.
first Nintendo Entertainment System. First real one that had the light gun.
The what?
Like a light gun that you could plug into your console and like shoot stuff like you're in an arcade.
Oh, right, okay. Like you get with the Wii now, you can put them in holders and
Yeah.
stuff.
So now we move into the 90s.
I mean,
Top 3.
Mario still be up there. Pac-Man?
Mario World is at number 3.
Pac-Man, would that
90s.
be? Or is that Game Boy more?
would there be Grand Theft Auto in there?
I was going to say, did GTA come out? The
No,
first
not-
one.
It did, but it's not in there.
Oh.
It's not in there.
I just seen, Ronnie, you got handed a nice big bowl of crisps there.
Crisps? No chips.
Oh, chips.
Oh, yes.
don't make me
He's
hungry.
having his din-dins.
Oh yeah.
Is that dinner or just a snack?
Oh no, dinner. There's a nice wrap as well. A lovely wrap from the.
So, Ethan, top 2 games, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue.
yes. In
Is
fact,
that
that's
Fire Red?
no. It's the
Pokemon
original,
Red,
the original.
Pokemon Blue.
Yeah, with the
Was
original
it just
Pokemon.
red, Ronnie, or fire red? 'Cause
How'd
I
you-
played a
how'd
lot
you
of
get
fire
Pikachu?
red.
Just
wanna-
red. It was just red. It was red and blue,
Pokemon.
and there was green and yellow after that. That was the original coloured. Those is the original Pokemons. But yeah, red and blue. Which
Oh,
I think I actually had an imported American copy of Pokemon Blue, so I actually got to play it before it was actually out in the UK. And I
I've
think
got.
I bought.
I like basically downloaded Fire Red on my phone on like a fake Game Boy emulator. I love it. It's wicked.
Yeah, it's crazy now that the whole you can literally get whole consoles in a phone now.
It is mental, yeah, really.
What about the noughties?
It's got to be Grand Theft.
Right.
Really?
So I was surprised at this.
Modern Warfare.
Would have been
Nope.
Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
No, I'm going to give you a clue.
Go on then.
They're all on the same format.
Nintendo then.
Yes.
So Mario.
Tell me there's a Sonic in somewhere. 'Cause
Mario Land is on there at number 3.
Sonic, yeah, maybe.
No.
Wii Sport.
Wii Sports number 1.
Oh,
I
of course
loved-
it was. Everyone bought Wii Sport
I,
for Christmas.
I bought a Wii for Wii Sports.
Yeah,
And
everyone loved
Wii
it.
Fit is number 2.
Oh, really?
See, Wii Fit was crap, but
So-
Wii Sport, top quality.
What have you noticed about the 80s, 90s, and noughties?
They're all
Nintendo.
Nintendo. pretty
All
much.
Nintendo.
And now, and if you,
Madness.
Nintendo's dropped off a bit, didn't it?
Exactly. So the last 20
But
years, it's all been
now-
PlayStation.
Well, actually, no.
recently-
Actually, you say that, but the Switch is actually the top selling console currently.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
there you
back
go.
now, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It dropped off for a while because everyone had a Wii for a bit, and then they just stopped. And Nintendo
Yeah.
didn't really bring anything out.
I did the
since
Wii U, but the Wii U was not great.
No, yeah.
I bought a Wii to play Wii Sports because I thought it was really good. And I got that good at the tennis, I would use both remotes and play myself at tennis. Honest to God, I was amazing at it.
Yeah, but did
I-
you play
I
sitting down
honestly
as
will-
well?
What's that?
You play sitting down.
No, I play
A lot
standing
of
up.
people like. oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think I could still beat any of you lot on either the bowling or the tennis.
The golf as well.
Nice.
You had golf. Did you ever play the golf?
Oh, I played the golf as well, yeah, but I weren't as
A lot of
good as
people like
Did you
the
ever
Wii.
play the Wii hand job?
Is that just a hand job from a Scottish person? It's a wee hand job.
Yeah, Wii hand job.
A lot of people
Wee
like
job here. That's a poo.
It is a poo.
We're talking about the kind of the timeline of games. That the big switch was the leap from kind of the SNES generation into the PlayStation. The PlayStation was the one that really changed.
PlayStation was massive, yeah.
It
PlayStation
changed gaming
was
from
massive.
being something that was for kids to something that people played when they came home from the pub, which then brought in a whole new generation of things. It made it acceptable to be an adult and or a more mature person and play games.
That's a very good point.
Well,
Actually.
I think probably because the people that were playing the other consoles when they were younger
Oh, yeah.
then had something and they carried on. So I think it's a generational thing
Just about to say,
Yeah.
yeah, is that what it is? Is it because the people that were playing them in the 80s are now grown up and coming back from the pub?
and they can afford to buy the however much 400 quid console or whatever it is. I don't know.
But it was also the change in the marketing though. They did it. But interesting fact, do you know who the original PlayStation was designed for? That when the Sony engineers created it
Stephen Hawkins.
for Nintendo.
No, they created
was
it
it?
for Stephen Hawkins.
Nintendo asked them to create a,
Well,
a new
they-
console. Oh, they came at a new console, but they didn't want the disc drive, did they?
Yeah, they tried to create it as like they tried to create it with a disc drive and said, look, here you go, this is a fast technology. And Nintendo said, actually, no, we're going to do it with cartridges.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's some rationale there. The cartridges are faster to load because they're integral. You basically
Yeah.
plug them in, it becomes part of the actual board. But yeah, so originally, but they thought, well, this technology is great, so we'll release it ourselves as the PlayStation.
There you go.
The PlayStation
That's
could
what
have been
she
a
wrote.
Nintendo console.
I remember turning on the Spectrum and literally hearing the
Yeah. Yeah.
going on for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was
Was it loaded?
anticipation, but I very rarely got to play it because my brother was always on it.
Yeah.
The one thing
They
I never
were
got
great.
with the Commodore 64, you used to have if you bought a game, you'd get the fast load and slow load. If you remember that?
Yeah, who
You
would
get
do
two
it slow?
cartridges.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there was certain versions that only had like a tape drive that did the slow mode, but having only ever been exposed to the fast one, it's like, well, why would you ever use that?
Perhaps it's for tantric gamers that want to delay the pleasure.
That was the worst. You'd put a game in and leave it, and then you'd be like, "Is it loading yet?" You'd forget all about it, and then you'd suddenly hear that click of death where the tapes ran out, and nothing's happened, and you just sat there for 45 minutes while the tape just runs out.
Or
So
it's,
there's lots
it's
of
turn
there's-
over to side 2.
Yeah,
yeah, there's lots of things of death, isn't there? There's the red ring of death was a thing,
that was an Xbox
Oh, yeah.
thing.
was
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the things that I remember
Yeah,
people
if your
talking
Xbox
about.
does that, you're lobbing it.
There's a red screen of death as well, isn't there? Apparently with an Xbox One, I think.
I don't-
Something like that. I
don't
don't
know.
know. I might be making that up.
Lots of things of death though.
I've
Death
noticed
is not
only with
good.
Xbox though.
Eh?
Only with Xbox. Didn't
Really?
really have many deaf PlayStation things.
No, don't know. No, I don't know of any. No,
Neither. I don't think there is any.
no.
I'm
don't
sure
know
there has
of
been.
any.
It's just they're not as easily and kind of.
Yeah, the
Not
red
really
ring of
ready.
death is quite easy to roll off the tongue. It's
Yeah.
quite memorable.
Yeah.
And it was
red
the way
flashing
that
button of death.
it was the way the Xbox reported its errors was to turn the ring red, so it made it
Yeah.
quite obvious.
Yeah. So, do any SNES games stick out for you, Ronnie?
I mean, Star Fox / Starwing with the
Yeah.
introduction to 3D with the I think it was a 3DFX chip on the actual cartridges. Again, which was an advantage of Nintendo's, or an advantage of being cartridge based was they could improve the technology of the games without changing the hardware of the SNES because the game was part of the hardware.
Yeah.
So there were certain cartridges that had this extra 3DFX chip to allow you to actually.
It was a cracking game. That was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, the way you could. It was so smooth the way you could fly it around, and then your L&R buttons made it like pitch and roll and stuff. It was very
Which-
clever.
And if you did a roll, you could deflect lasers, which was the big thing.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
I still have no idea what actually was going on with it.
No, I'm not 100% sure either. It was all very 3D, quite blocky. The graphics weren't fantastic, but the gameplay was good.
It's also sort of
Do you
Japanese
remember
as well.
any SNES games? Or?
No, but Prince of Persia is something my brother used to play all the time.
Again, another
Yeah.
big PC game. Now, I know it came onto consoles, but that was quite a big PC.
Yeah, that was
game.
that was
I
definitely
used to- I
a
used
PC
to
because
like
he used
that
to
as
play
well.
that all the time.
Yeah,
Like I said, I didn't get a chance to play games because he was always on it.
and he used to beat you up if you tried to get on
No,
there.
he's a tiny little wimp boy.
No, he would punch you hard in the head, and you
We
would
had
cry.
so many fights.
Did you?
Yeah, I used to get because I was the baby.
Yeah.
I used to go, Mom. He'd be like kicked off it.
Nice.
Yeah, but I very rarely did it because I honestly didn't care.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's right,
Do you remember? You don't remember the SNES, do you, Ethan? You ever played it? I'm sure you know.
Probably not. No.
Sure, no.
Oh, have you got my SNES in your drawer at your house, John?
Don't think. Didn't you take it when you moved out?
I don't remember. I thought it was still in the drawer under your TV or something.
Definitely not in the
Is
drawer.
that
under
that
the
weird
TV.
white box?
What? No, it's not. No, it's what in the drawer under the TV.
I thought
Yeah,
it was.
No, that's the mesh Wi-Fi thing. It's only a small thing.
No,
that is.
you have a old. Definitely have some retro. I think it is a SNES.
After recording, go and have a look.
Yeah,
I might have
it's
a
got
look.
Street Fighter on, and not Street Fighter, but it's got like
And if
some
you've
sort
got
of
it,
fighter on.
Oh no,
Oh,
that's
that's
the PlayStation 1. That's the mini PlayStation.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the
Sorry.
PlayStation Mini. No, not definitely because all them drawers are full of something else. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to have a check. But yeah, I used to love the. For me, it was ISS Deluxe, International Superstar Soccer Deluxe.
I've just remembered another game I used to play
Yeah.
that I did like. Sorry,
Go on.
Rollerball.
Don't remember Rollerball.
Was
Oh,
it
do you
called
mean?
Not Rollerball.
I can picture it.
Ice cream. That one.
No, I don't remember that.
It was
Speedball.
something deluxe. Speedball.
Speedball, Brutal Deluxe.
Speedball.
With something deluxe was the name of the
Brutal
team.
Deluxe. Yeah.
Brutal Deluxe.
Yeah,
Yep.
And
I
used to
don't
throw,
know.
used to
That
throw a
was amazing.
ball around,
yeah.
and,
what's the
and
studio
then
for that? Was
someone
it a
got
big studio?
injured. The medics had come out, and that's when the ice cream seller would go around the crowd, and go ice cream. No,
Is that the one where you could throw it into the like? It was almost like a big floating scoreboard in the middle. You throw the ball up into that. What was that game?
no.
Remember that,
This
Ronnie?
was
You
this
used
was
to play
two.
that.
This was two ends. It was like a football.
Oh,
pitch.
you're thinking of
had-
I'm
had
thinking of bounces.
No, that was Commodore.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah,
Speedball. Speedball was
Yeah,
amazing.
Speedball.
Are
That's
you-
the sequel was Speedball 2, Brutal Deluxe.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would probably be because I remember that. I used to play that a lot. I like that. I was good at that.
No, I never played that. But yeah, ISS Deluxe. I used to
Sorry,
love that.
ISS Deluxe. Yes, off
Oh,
you
it's
go.
just a fantastic football game. We just like it was one of the very first that you could do it. Like you could do little kicky uppies. You could choose the color of the kits. Great graphics, great gameplay. It was a phenomenal game. And they went on. ISS went on to do some great games. So that's where Pro Evolution comes from. So
Pro Evo. I played
it
Pro
used to
Evo.
be the very first Pro Evolution was ISS Pro. It went from ISS Deluxe to ISS Pro when it first hit like the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. And then it ended up being Pro Evolution Soccer. And that's when it really like went head to head with FIFA. Because FIFA had from quite early on, FIFA had all the football rights. Because FIFA it's like the FIFA thing. So they had all the kits, the player names, the stadiums. So if you're a big football fan, you wanted to play Man United versus Arsenal back then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you wanted Henry up front and and Bergkamp up front. Whereas when you were playing on ISS Deluxe, you were playing London Red versus Manchester Red.
And you had
they were the team names.
and you had Berghofer
Yeah, so you had Berghofer
and Terry Henry.
Henrice, yeah, or something. Yeah, exactly. But the gameplay was always way better on ISS Deluxe. It was almost like your chavs would always buy FIFA because they just wanted it because it was the glitz and it was FIFA and it was all the proper names and it always had a really cool soundtrack. Whereas your purists that really love football games would always buy Pro Evolution because the gameplay was just so much better. And then it changed. Can't remember what FIFA it was.
Like 16, 17, because I played
something like that.
I
Yeah,
played-
then FIFA they just got it right. It was one year they just went finally. they
Yeah,
nailed it.
So I bought an Xbox when Biggs was living with me. When Biggs moved in for a while,
Yeah, I remember you used to play Pro Evolution.
and we used to play Pro Evolution
Yeah.
a lot. So we only used to play a few games. We played Pro Evolution and Modern Warfare because it's 2-player games, and we could just sit there all night having a few drinks.
Yeah.
having a few
We're-
cigarettes.
We're not referring to it as Pez.
Pez.
Pez, yes. I
Oh,
suppose
Pro
so.
Soccer.
Pez,
Probably
what
should.
a
I just
crap.
think of a sweet dispenser for that.
Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
Pez is in
Such
PS rather
crap.
than PZ.
Yeah.
What, Pro Evolution Soccer?
Graphics now are awful on that game.
Oh no, I'm talking back.
I know because it's old.
Well, it must be about 15.
I
No,
thought Pez was trying to keep up with FIFA for a while.
They were for a while.
I remember it going up to like at least 2017.
Pro Evolution, I don't know what.
There's
Might-
Pro
might
Evolution
be.
Soccer 2021.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
still
still
going out?
going.
It's
yeah,
still
yeah.
going.
It probably is. But there was a point in time when that was the game.
That
That
was
was the
better.
game to buy.
Yeah.
If you liked football games and the in-game stuff was so much better, the management, all of it was so much better. FIFA was literally just all bells and whistles. It just
Yeah.
it looked the look, but couldn't talk the talk.
all mouth, no trousers.
That's the one.
Yeah, not bells and whistles.
All mouth, no trousers.
The last FIFA I bought was last year's, and I haven't bought this year's.
So yeah, I used to play those sort of games with Biggs, and that's
Yeah.
It's the only reason I played games because you can play it with someone.
Yeah,
I don't tend to. The only games I tend to play now, or game,
Phone game.
is on my phone.
See, I agree.
We'll get
I
onto that.
quite like online.
We'll come on to that.
If I play on games, I prefer online.
Okay.
Playing with people.
So that was the next big evolution, wasn't it?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, obviously you got your PlayStations. Do we want to go into PlayStation? Do you remember PlayStation 1? You must remember.
I remember it. Yeah, I never had one.
You remember? You don't on the PlayStation 1, do you, Ethan? This is so
No.
before your time. Go on, Ronnie. Best PlayStation 1 game.
Gran Turismo.
Oh shit! I forgot about Gran Turismo.
When that with Clint Eastwood.
The graphics of Gran
Wow.
Turismo was incredible.
And
For the
incredible
day.
gameplay. What unique gameplay was. So Gran Turismo was a game where it was a race car game basically, but you had your own car garage, like fictitious garage, and you would do races with your car that you got given at the very beginning. Winning races,
But you
gave
had
you
to
money.
buy one at the beginning. You had a budget at the beginning to buy your
Oh,
own.
you had a budget to buy a car, and then you souped it up, took that car out in certain races. Certain cars could do certain races, like they had special ones just for Japanese cars, special ones just for American cars. And then you'd win more money, get better cars, and you could have a garage with just loads of cars in. Some of them souped up, some of them not.
Could you get an Austin Allegro?
Oh, it was amazing. No, but
Oh,
they
there was-
had like
Oh.
so Honda
was-
were on
there
there,
was
so you
so
could
many.
get everything from a Skyline to a Civic.
My old man had a Nissan, not a Nissan, Datsun Skyline.
Did he?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mum made him get rid of it.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Yeah.
I bet she did.
Went round-
Shit off a
Do you
shovel.
remember when Bronson Crossroads used to be a roundabout?
Yes.
He just went round that about 4 times
I
with
remember
the
you
back
saying,
out.
yeah.
Scared the
Power
shit.
sliding
Yeah,
round it.
scared the shit out of my mum. She told him to get rid of it. Got rid of it next week. He owned it for about, I don't know, a month.
That was the weird thing about Gran Turismo, that they literally had, like, I remember one of them, you had to do, I think it was one of the licenses, you had to drive like a Mazda Demio.
Yeah, that's what you had to. Yeah, that's what you had to do for the license. It was all in a Mazda Demio, wasn't it? You had two
Yeah.
stages of licenses. It was what you said. You had to pass your driving license to be able to play the game.
Love it.
Oh, to
So
do
you
the,
had
like,
to
the,
do
the
stuff
bigger,
like accelerate and
races.
brake, and you had to brake within a certain distance, get around this chicane without knocking a cone over. It was wicked. It was
You
such a
basically
good
had to do a
game.
computer CBT.
I think you can still. I think they're still out now. I think you still get. I think they're still doing
I'm not really into racing
Gran
games.
Turismo games, but it was so good. Yeah, because
It
they
was.
started doing F1 was in it as well,
Oh, wow.
so you could join F1 teams and buy F1 cars. It got like all games. It just got massive.
What was your favourite PlayStation game?
Metal Gear Solid.
Oof.
What was that about?
Metal Gear Solid. It was a third person, so you see the guy, but it was the first game. Well, I don't know if it was the first, probably the first game that was all about stealth tactics.
Is that one where you had to? So I remember my brother had Metal Gear Solid, and he also had Halo.
Halo, yeah.
One was about killing aliens.
Halo was
Halo
later
game.
on.
Is that
Metal,
that
Gear,
one?
Metal Gear
That's
Solid
that
was
later
way
on.
before.
So
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid is not killing aliens.
No, Metal Gear
Okay,
Solid
no.
was one. It was one where you could win a level, or you could continue through, because it wasn't really levels, by shooting everybody up, or sneaky. You could like hide under tables, get into the air vents, sneak through the air vents, and you could hide behind stuff. It was revolutionary. You could hide behind stuff and like tap on the walls, and the guards would, oh, what's that? And the guards would come over, and then when the guards' backs turned, grab them by the round of the neck, strangle them to death, and then pick the body up and move the body so no one else could find it. It was just, and they're still making them now. I've got one on the Xbox One. Brilliant game.
Yeah. 1998 was the
absolutely-
Metal Gear Solid.
Sorry, when was that?
1998.
98.
It was actually the third in the
Metal
series
Gear
as well.
Solid was
Because
amazing.
Metal Gear it's a very Japanese kind of series, and I think it started with Metal Gear, which was back in 89,
Did it?
88, 87 in fact. There we go. Yeah, on the NES. I don't remember anything about it until the PlayStation.
No.
But yeah,
No, I don't.
it was.
Oh, that was because it was just
It's a brilliant
it was
character.
perfect for me. It was very much take your time, slow.
Yeah.
It's like none of this, because I'm never been very good with hand-eye coordination and that sort of thing, like being dead quick and doing stuff. But it was very much methodical. Plan your stuff out.
Yeah.
Wait for your guard to come round. If that guard goes that way and that one's coming this way, and there's a security camera up there, wait till he's round. Oh, it was just loved it.
It was also. It was. I mean, is it Hideo Kojima, the guy that designed it? Basically, it was a heavily
absolute
designed.
lunatic.
It was a heavily designed game. I mean, there's points in those games that everyone will be able to discuss, like the sniper battle with is it Sniper Wolf?
Is that on the third one? Is that the one where you're in the jungle?
No, I think it's in the first one. But it's in the snow.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
He's wearing the snowsuit, and you have to wait to see his breath.
Yeah, well,
You can see his breath in the snow to find out where he is.
Yeah.
Incredible. So clever.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
clever.
It was one of those games that really showed that game design was a thing. It wasn't just put some graphics on the screen, make a move about, and everyone will be fine. It was. I mean, even now, even when the graphics aren't great, the gameplay still stands up. It was incredible.
Yeah. What about PS2 then? Let's move through. Let's just go through the rankings of game consoles.
If you can do that, you'll bring Xbox in now, aren't you?
Xbox came in just after PS2,
Never
I think.
played
Yeah.
any Xbox.
I've never played on a PlayStation that I can recall.
One or two.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
it's
three.
just a localization thing. This was amazing thing. I don't know how this happened, but our local video shop started renting out consoles.
They did. That's Andy Kim's.
Andy Kim's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First one ever to do it. Rented out. We used to rerun
The
it
midget
all
stripper.
time. Yeah, midget stripper used to rent out a console. It was about 20 quid for a weekend.
because they had the
With
Panasonic 3DO, which was I think before even the PlayStation, maybe.
The Panasonic 3DO, yeah. They had a golf game on it. Do you remember that?
I don't
Oh,
know.
Tiger Woods golf, wasn't it?
No, it was before Tiger Woods. It was just
Wasn't
called
that?
PGA.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Was that the one where you had the rolly ball as like the directional thing? It was
Like
you
mouse.
had a big roll ball. Yeah, you had a big rolly ball. I remember going
think
into
so.
like one of the electrical shops. You had a big screen with that on that game, and it was literally like you rolled the button. It was a golf game, and it looked in my mind now it was like you were watching the actual PGA
Yeah.
tour. And
So you
were
rolled it back to
controlling
the
the guide.
backswing and you pushed it forward to go through.
Yeah, but obviously I don't think the graphics were that good. But in my mind, it was that good. It was like wow. Yeah, 3DO was good, and then your PlayStation and PS2. But you must have a standout game on the PS2, Ronnie.
I never actually owned I don't think I actually owned a PS2.
Wow.
Check the dates. Actually, I
Shocking.
think so.
Might be Battlefield.
PlayStation was 1994. The 3DO,
Yeah.
I think 3DO might have been 95.
Just after.
Yeah. Quite surprising.
So yours is Battlefield, Ethan.
Star Wars.
Star Wars Battlefield.
Yeah.
That was a great game.
Huh?
Is that the one where you could one of the levels you'd go around the walkers?
It wasn't really. It was online as well. That was an online game.
Is that because PS2 was the first one to go online, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was. I think PS2 might have been the first one that you could go online with. But PS2 was great as well. I mean, for me, there's two standout games on that. Was Shadow of the Colossus, which they re-released on the PS3, I think, or PS4.
I still need to play that. Again, that's another exclusive to
Oh my
PlayStation.
God.
It's not been released on any of the consoles
Yeah,
yet.
it was completely exclusive, and it was amazing. You were just it was a weird thing. You were a little guy, and you're riding around on a horse, open world, nothing really there, just crazy scenery and stuff. And then it would just stop, and it'd be like a split screen, and you just see this giant appear,
A Colossus.
a Colossus,
Wow.
and you'd have to kill the Colossus. That was all. That was the level to kill the Colossus. And these things were like size of buildings. And you just saw this, and you'd like walk. It's just like the cinematography and like almost like anxiety of having this giant thing, and you'd have to climb onto it and get into its knee crevice, and then you're trying to get up to its head, and there'd always be different ways to kill them, and you'd get them with some that flew, some that were like run along animals like donkeys and stuff. It's fucking mental.
I think if you play Breath of the Wild, the latest Zelda title on Switch, there's some kind of harks back to that. There's some giant creatures that you kind of basically have puzzles within them, so you kind of run around these giant creatures trying to fight a few things. And you don't actually kill them, the same thing, but it's similar to that kind of idea.
Then the best game is on that is my favorite game of all time,
Grand Theft Auto.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Yeah.
Now that I've played.
You must have played PlayStation then. Yeah.
That's on PC. That's on PC as well.
I don't think you would have played it on PC, would you?
Yeah, Toe had it.
On his PC?
Toe did PCs.
Grand Theft Auto on PC is way better.
You sure it wasn't on an Xbox as well?
I don't know. Might have been on the original Xbox.
Because I think I played it
PSP. Do you ever have a PSP?
No.
Oh yes, brilliant.
It was on that. It would
PSPs were so like, if they came out now, people would lap them up. They came out at the wrong time.
Well, the Viva was it the PSP?
Sorry,
Viva?
Yeah, but not really recent. It was a few years ago. That
but
came
now,
out.
you compare them with a Switch, and it's not even the same.
Well, yeah,
Exactly, but the Switch is literally a PSP.
What's a PSP?
Yeah. PlayStation Portable.
Oh, right, so it's got a
Handheld.
monitor on it.
I suppose like the same as.
I think it came out at the wrong time because DS was massive.
Game
It's very
Gear,
similar to a
Sega
Switch.
Game Gear.
Very similar to a Switch with the kind of fixed controls on the side, and very similar
Have you
layout.
seen a Switch?
Yes.
It's literally the design of a Switch.
It is,
Okay,
but a Switch is literally a handheld console.
What was the
power of a console?
what was the Sega
I know,
one?
but I'm thinking if they brought them out now,
Sega was a Game Gear.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that came out just after the
I
Game
remember
Boy.
a lot of people went crazy for the
It
Game
was
Gear.
colour, first one in colour.
Yeah.
The weird thing with the PSP was the cartridges were like cartridges that had a disc inside them. You can see like the disc inside, which is really strange.
Yeah, Cole's still got my PSP. He says it's his, but it's not. It's mine. He loves it.
I used to
I
actually.
love it. If they brought them out now, I think
they
they'd do really good.
I used to watch videos on mine, podcasts and videos on mine, more than anything.
But yeah, Vice City was the biggest game. I think it was like of the era. It was one of those where people started talking about it in the mainstream media.
Was
It was like
was it an 18? Is that
it
what?
was an
Yes, it
18.
was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
an
it was the
18, but
first-
I think we've touched on that before, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I
was
think
the
I mentioned it. It was the original
open
Grand Theft Auto, which on PC. That was you had to actually.
The Vice City one, wasn't it?
No,
I
the
remember-
original Grand Theft Auto, the top-down.
I was going to say, remember my brother playing one that was looking down, and it was
No, there was another
It was
one.
like a little character.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That was the looking down.
2D.
But there was
Yeah.
one before Vice City, which was in Liberty City.
No, there's 2D
remember that one,
GTA
Ronnie?
as well.
Liberty City. That's Liberty City Stories.
And that was no, it was before Vice City.
San Andreas. That was before.
That was after.
that was after.
That was after.
Yeah.
So Liberty City was the first one, and then Vice City came out. Vice City built on the Liberty City one and made
Liberty
it
City
bigger.
was the
San
first
Andreas was
3D one, I
massive.
think.
Yeah, that was the first 3D one.
San Andreas now you can get on your phone.
But the reason
Wicked.
Vice City was so good is because it was literally Scarface. It was all the mobster movies rolled into one.
Yeah.
All of them. So you had Scarface in there. You had the mansions and everything. It was all done like
Well,
Malibu.
It had a bit of everything. You could drive around racing.
Yeah.
You could go and kill people on foot and
Yeah.
beat them up.
See,
So
that's
it
what
was
I
a
think
beat 'em up game. It was a driving game, and it was an open world game.
But for me, it was the and the 80s with all the music, and you had all the stereos,
All the different radio stations.
It was just so good. That game was just amazing. And
The Grand Theft Auto 3 was actually the first 3D one. So Vice City was a sequel to Grand Theft Auto 3.
yes, that was the one in Liberty City, Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game that came with a map. You had your own map. It was actually really
That's
hard
right,
to play
yeah.
without it as well.
And was that on the Xbox as well?
Yes.
I think, I was going to say, because I think although my brother had it on, he would have had it on his PC. At that point, we were no longer living in the same house, so it would have been on an Xbox that I would have played it, because that's the only console.
Have you ever played Grand
had.
Theft Auto 5?
I played 3, Vice City one, and I played San Andreas, and
San
then
Andreas, then 4th, I think. Or was there something before?
I think that's about it that I've
I never
played.
got on with I never got on with San Andreas. I didn't.
It was a bigger thing, weren't it? So the map was
No,
massive.
San
apparently.
Andreas
Yeah.
is brilliant.
No, that's
No, it's brilliant.
no, it's nowhere
Yeah.
near. Not a patch on Vice City.
No, San
Yeah,
Andreas
I'm
is
much-
brilliant.
I much
You used to be
prefer
able to
playing
run around
Vice
with a
City.
purple dildo as a weapon.
Yeah, but you could put on a purple velour tracksuit in Vice City.
Yeah,
and
you
pretend you're
could
a
do that
mobster.
in San Andreas, like dress them up and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, I know,
Vice
but
City
it
had the whole economy thing as well. It introduced the idea that you could like basically buy businesses and things. That was the
Yes,
Vice
I
City.
That's a
Yeah,
lot
you
like
could.
5 now,
Yeah.
isn't it? 5's
Yeah.
a lot like that.
What's
Yeah.
You
5?
can like
You're a
5's just
Russian
above
mobster.
them all. No, that's 4.
Is that 4?
5's just it's 3 characters. You've
Oh,
got a chance of
so you're
3
still talking about?
characters.
I thought it was a separate game you were talking about called
Oh,
5.
No, GTA 5 is like
Okay.
3 characters instead of 1, and like they're all intertwined in
Yeah,
one
no,
story.
yeah,
And you
and
could do heists. And
I've
stuff.
seen that.
Yeah.
I've not played it though.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I always thought that San
And
Andreas
online
was
of
just
that,
2P.
the online of that just was amazing.
So that takes us up to your Xbox, PlayStation 3, when online gaming became big.
You 360
Call of
and
Duty
you
was the
won.
one then.
What about you?
Call
Online
of Duty
gaming.
brilliant.
When did you start playing online, and what was it?
Call of Duty?
And that was on
It would have been Modern Warfare 2. I used to play
PS3.
online. PS3, yeah. Modern Warfare 2, and then I got into like playing zombies and stuff.
We used to play zombies, didn't we?
Yeah, but on it's brilliant. I
What's
loved it.
is that another game? Zombies?
Zombies is no like Call of Duty or you had
Oh,
like a,
that's
It's like
right.
a
Yeah,
level
yeah, I
within it
remember.
where
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
it's just survival.
Survive as long as
All
you can.
zombies
yeah.
are coming in. You got to just shoot them up.
and see how many rounds you can last for. They recently brought it back out in the new Call of Duty, which I'm really hoping to get. Cold War.
This is where I diverged because this is where I went into computers and PC gaming.
What was the
rather
last
than in
console
console.
you had then? Oh, you had an
I mean,
Xbox 360.
I had one, but way after they were popular. I picked it for 20 quid off somebody because they were. I think the one was already out at that point.
Yeah.
But of their time, the PlayStation was the only one I had during the PlayStation era, and several times afterwards.
See, I had PS3 for a while, and then I went on to PC. But I did have a PlayStation 4 as well, but I played more computer.
So it's my understanding that PC gaming is
It's way far
a lot
superior.
better than
Just,
than a
just the
console.
way it is, like I thought if I played GTA on it, and it was just
Is that because
it
of the,
felt a lot better and a lot nicer than playing.
is
on
that
a,
because of the power of the computing power?
Not just that, it's like using a mouse and a keyboard as well was a lot nicer. and-
Okay.
There's advantages and disadvantages. There's advantage that it can take advantage of better hardware because the hardware isn't fixed as it is in the consoles. But that
Yeah, that's
also
the
means
problem, isn't it?
there is a degree of configuration with a PC, whereas the advantage of consoles was that it's kind of plug and play. You basically just stick the disc in and then start playing. Although that's moving more
With
towards the
PC
PC
as well, you always had to have the best stuff
Yeah.
inside it to run certain games.
Yeah.
Because I remember having GTA and my old computer didn't always run it very well. Like it lagged quite a bit and stuff like that.
See, in the early days of PC gaming, probably kind of PlayStation era, maybe before that actually, there was. I mean, you guys probably won't understand any of this, but you have to like switch your memory around in your computer. There was XMS and EMS, 2 standards of memory, and you used to have to literally go into DOS prompt and change which memory you're using in order to run certain games. I mean, one of the early games I remember was. I mean, you guys have probably played Carmageddon. Remember that?
What's that? Sorry.
Carmageddon, yeah, I remember that.
No.
Yeah, that was a PC game. I mean, when it came out, it was a 200 meg game, and at the time, I think I had like 2 hard drives in my computer, and one of them was 200 meg. So I literally had to clear off one of my hard drives in order to install that game and run it. It was
That noise
did
was
you
me
ever-
closing a door.
Did you ever play like the first big PC game I ever played is Minecraft? Did you ever play that? I
I
thought
played it briefly.
that was just a game changer, though, wasn't it, for a lot of people? Because it's just so basic, but
Yeah,
I-
I mean, it's
like
Lego.
the
for
world,
one.
you could
for
do
one world, really.
anything.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I mean, see, the thing is,
That was,
I've
it's very blocky graphics, that one, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
it's very very low.
block
Low.
game.
Yeah.
Probably the easiest graphics ever, and it just took the world by
So why did
storm.
it take off so big? If it's not amazing graphics, I
A
mean,
lot of it was the interactivity. It's the open
Because
world
it's just
nature
simple,
of it.
yeah.
and
You
interactivity.
literally
And
like,
it's basically like Lego. It's Lego for the digital age. You can make anything you want in there. You can make like engines, like because there's logic rules to stuff, so you can actually create
I
logic.
don't know.
engines.
I think that's more mods. If you had like mods and stuff. you
But
can
they
make
built
engines.
Copenhagen. Someone
Yeah.
built Copenhagen in Minecraft,
oh wow,
like block for
You do
block.
it all the time. Yeah,
Wow.
stuff like that.
Walk around it, and it was like they'd rebuild because it's an open world of just building stuff out of blocks.
And
and
that's
is that
the creative
online?
side. And if you had, you could do online.
You can do that online and
Yeah,
then
but
invite other
survival
people to your village.
Yeah.
Yeah, invite people into your server
Well-
and or fight people or
So survival was more like that start of a world. You literally just put in a world with nothing, and you start from scratch. So you got to get wood. So you got to chop trees down, then get wood, make like a crafting table, get stone, make like pickaxes, axes.
Kill your own food.
Yeah, you got to get cows,
See,
farm.
I haven't got the patience for all of this shit. This is why I
that's
sort
why
of
it was so
diverse
good.
a little bit. It's like now at the minute I would jump in, I suppose, around a little bit, but like Red Dead Redemption, as phenomenal as that game is, and the graphics are utterly out of this world. It's so involved. Like you have to shave on it. You have to go and get food, have a bath, go to sleep.
You don't have to do them.
No,
You,
no,
you don't
don't
do
have
that
to, but
in normal life.
I don't do
When was
any
the
of
last
that.
time you shaved?
I don't shave since I was 21.
Yeah.
You do look a bit homeless.
There's just too much going on, and that's what I found with San Andreas. That's why San Andreas, like, I didn't like it, because in San Andreas it was the first one.
Well,
where
you wouldn't like
could,
GTA 5 then, because that's exactly
no, it's where
what
you
that's
could
like.
you could work out and you could become massively muscly.
Yeah,
like,
you can do
but
that.
then if you didn't work out for a couple of days in the game, you'd start to lose your muscle mass, so you'd have to go back to working out again, and it'd be like, I don't know. It just got.
The point is we have to work in a game, and if you're working in a game as well as working in real life,
Exactly. Yeah. I just want to follow the missions, do the missions.
Did you have to do like a 9 to 5 job?
Yeah,
Go into in the office.
Wake up in the morning.
It's
Yeah.
quite like
answer the
Call of
phone.
Duty then, because that's what Call of Duty was, really. Just you go
Yeah,
on
Call of
missions.
Duty was running around, and that's why I liked the new the Metal Gear 5. There was obviously you did your missions, things like that, but a lot of that game, or a big chunk of that game, was your development of weapons, developing your like your team, developing your officer oil rig, like adding levels to that so you could develop new stuff. So I went through a lot of that game with the same weapons, because I never bothered doing all the development stuff, which you've got to really do to be able to develop new weapons to make it more interesting. So I sort of lost interest in it because I only had the same guns all the time.
So for me, that is probably why I only play the games I play now. So if we can jump around a bit, I only play one game at the minute, but I used to play Clash of Clans, and that was about building your village. And
So that's a mobile phone game.
that's a
isn't it?
mobile phone game.
So let's,
See,
let's talk about mobile phone
them
games.
sort of
then,
games are
because-
quite scary, because you get invested and then you want to pay for stuff, because you've got to wait
Well,
like
that's-
24 hours for stuff to build.
That's what.
Like in this country where she like can't celebrate her birthday anymore because she sold it for £200 on virtual nothingness.
But yeah, they're. I mean, that's the only gaming I do really is on my phone. I don't really play anything else, and I really only play one game at the minute.
Which is?
But, well, it's called Kiss of War, and it's a war game.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. I love it. But
I mean, I actually did part of this on my my degree. I wrote about a thing called interstitial gaming, which is the fact that a lot of the gamers sort of our age went from having all this time to play games to then actually having a life, and then you find your gaming needs to basically fit into these kind of 10, 20, half an hour blocks of time you have. So you don't have the time to invest into big, long, epic games, which used to be the selling thing. If a game was sold with there's 200 hours of gameplay in it, that's amazing. Whereas nowadays, no, actually, I just want to be able to pick it up and play it and then put it down again. But yeah, so it's kind of an evolution of what games are trying to satisfy.
But I think those sort of games now, where like Clash of Clans, where you build your village and everything, that'd be perfect for you, John, because it's do some stuff, have a couple of fights, set some stuff to build.
That's the building of stuff I
And
can't
then
be arsed with.
and then
That's
leave
the
it.
thing, though. You some of them
Because
gotta
then you
wait
go off and do
24 hours for them to
real
build.
life stuff, and then you come back and it's built.
I know, but that's like that for me. I can't be asked. For me,
But
like
if
my friend Carl, who loves his gaming, and he's into everything from, like I say, he's got really old consoles and games for them all the way up to like the Cyberpunk, let's say, which is like the brand new game. He's always on the cusp of brand new games. His favorite console that he always puts on, because he's a dad as well. He works full time. Is the SNES, because you put a game in, you turn it on, you can play NHL Hockey 95. You can get the Pittsburgh Penguins and play like a quick game, 20 minutes, and it's time for dinner. You can turn it off again. We're done.
You see,
Whereas
I don't
I log on to Red Dead Redemption 2, 20 minutes has gone by, and I'm still looking for my horse.
You're still
See,
shaving.
I like the progress in games. I quite like with Minecraft. I like the progress and the waiting and well, not really waiting. You don't really do a lot of waiting in Minecraft, but the mining, trying to get the best loot, stuff like that. I prefer that than just.
So you're
Saying that though, I love Fortnite, which is literally
I was
just.
going to say you're a big. So Fortnite is Fortnite the biggest online game again now? Still,
Fortnite.
At one point, it was just massive.
but
It's
didn't
pretty
it go? Didn't it come then go away again? And then, as far as I'm aware, is it PUG? Players Unknown Battleground, whatever
Yeah.
it's called.
It
That
was
got
just,
quite big.
I think
No,
Fortnite
that was before Fortnite.
Yeah, but Fortnite wasn't originally a battle royale game. I don't believe there was more
It
kind
was
of
a
story
zombie
to it.
game.
Yeah, and then they basically reached a new mode, which was the kind of seeing the success of PUBG, or players on Battlegrounds, they decided to sort of shift the game into that direction, and that's what really made it take off.
Well, the mode is
That's
Battle
why
Royale.
there's still that's why there's still the building
And
element.
a lot of games are doing that now. So
Yeah.
Call of Duty have now got a Warzone, which is Battle Royale.
But they always did. Remember, what was that one that we played, Ronnie? That the Super Bowl used to do it. They had a LAN that set up, and it was, what's the one that you used to play, Ethan? That people play now. It's not Call of Duty, but it's very similar.
Battlefront. No, Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Don't know if it was Battlefield. Is there another one?
There was
No.
Battlefield.
It was
I played that.
Battlefield.
There's an abbreviation for it.
BF.
Talk to me.
What would it be? What?
COD.
Not COD, because that's Call of Duty. People play it now.
Explain.
It's quite
CS:GO.
CS:GO. That's it. Yeah.
Counter Strike. What a game!
Counter Strike.
That's not Battle Royale. That was team versus team. That's not really Battle Royale.
That was a four man.
Yeah, 4-man versus
4-man. But those one game could last up to 3 hours.
That's very tactical.
It was
Yeah,
quite.
it was.
That's where you get like the ghillie suit,
And that's where your big
And you got
esports,
sneaking into-
massive esports came in with that.
Yeah.
Like that was a massive esports thing.
So the online gaming world. So yeah, Fortnite Fortnite was worth something like 3 billion or something, wasn't it?
I have
Fortnite,
no
games
idea.
like that are literally just Hunger Games. That's how I look at them. It's the same format as Hunger Games. Get dropped on an island, you gotta literally be the last one to survive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it comes back from there was a Japanese film called Battle Royale, which was basically the kids.
There's
kids
a Japanese book called Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah, and then they
films-
made the film from it. The book is
Okay, yeah.
incredible.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, the film was
Yeah,
pretty good as
film.
well. Basically, you get dropped. The kids get dropped on an island, and they find backpacks with weapons, and it's the kind of the last one to survive. And then they've
Someone got a frying pan, if I remember correctly, in the film.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
But
no, it's
with the
an
thing with
incredible film.
Fortnite, it got big because of the building aspect as well. It's not just
no.
you pick
That's
weapons
what
up,
makes it
parts and
unique.
stuff. You've literally got it's so like people just love the fact that you could literally build a base, not a base, but like you build a wall
Shelter.
to stop you. So if people were shooting you, you'd put a wall there.
So
And they'd have
that's
to
the one
shoot
thing that
the
puts
wall
me off
down.
it.
You keep putting walls there so they can't shoot you up, and like you'd have like build battles where you like just building and building and building and building and trying to shoot each other whilst building. It was just very skilled based.
This is the
Yeah.
most animated I've seen your lad through a webcam since the last time I phoned him up late night.
Through a webcam.
Yeah, through a webcam.
You got to stop doing that, Jim.
I can't help it.
I know.
He's a sexy
Talking about
man.
lucky nonce.
He's a sexy little boy.
You just talk to him about Fortnite. You just
Oh,
dress up
yeah.
as a Fortnite
Just-
character.
Yeah, is it Backpack Kid? Is that what the dance was? Backpack Kid one?
And that as well with Fortnite dances.
Yeah.
The Backpack Kid was the floss. He's started
Flossing, yeah,
flossing.
yeah.
So Fortnite had as well like emotes, which were like little. So that's where it made its money with skins and emotes because the game's free.
Skins, explain.
Suits, different
so
looks.
So different looks. So,
Outfits.
So you could buy a John Wick
Outfits.
suit. You
Oh,
could run
nice.
around
Yeah.
as John Wick.
Okay.
And now they did Marvel, so you could literally
Yeah,
get
the crossovers.
Deadpool, Iron Man, stuff like that. For some reason, it is mass. So like now you can drive cars, and it is literally playing songs like every song you can think of. It plays, and I don't know how they got the rights to stuff like
Spotify.
that.
It's a platform. It's basically a platform now. It's a platform.
Yeah, like
that
you get in
everyone's
a
used to
car,
advertise, so
and
Marvel
it's
is
like
used to
on the
advertise
game,
Marvel.
and it's like listening to the radio. So I don't know if you've heard of BG Media,
No.
really crappy grime thing that happened in Blackpool. They've got songs off that.
Nice.
It's so weird, honestly.
It is nuts now. It is crazy. So
I mean,
that seems
the
to be
key
way
thing,
forward
the key
now,
thing is though
online
with the monetizing is that it's not pay to win because that was a big thing. Is it's difficult to
No, yeah.
monetize without going for pay to win. So you can't.
Yeah.
If you can shovel £100 into
So
Fortnite
your skins
and
and your
not-
emotes won't
yeah.
affect how you play.
No.
It just
yeah.
changes how you look.
That's the key thing.
And people are spending money to look different.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
spent money on it and
How much have
regret
you
it.
spent running, Ethan?
I don't know how much I spent, but I know my brother spent 200 quid on it on my own account.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Honestly.
I play different called I play Apex Legends, which is one of the newer battle royales. I mean, the key difference is there isn't the crafting element that there is in Fortnite. It's a lot faster and smoother.
Is that Apex you're on about?
Yeah, Apex Legends. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, I
So-
played that for a bit. I didn't really get
it's
into
similar.
it.
The other thing is though that I don't know if it's do you have different like characters in Fortnite that you actually have different abilities?
No, that's Apex, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah, in
new things to
Fortnite, you're
Apex.
literally just everyone's the same.
Yeah,
It's just based on skill.
yeah.
So
So with
who
Apex
can
Legends,
build better, who can?
Apex's team, isn't it? You're a team of 3, is it, Ronnie?
well, a team of 2 or 3, and there are single modes as well. What have been in the past. But yeah, but it's all about the characters you choose as well. So different characters have very different abilities.
You can do that in
passives.
Fortnite as well. That's what I do a lot of squads.
So
With
with
a team
them,
of 4,
Mm.
and it's just four v
with
4.
with Fortnite, can you not like buy different guns to use, or you've
No,
all got
it's
the
not pay
same?
to win. You can buy different
the thing.
skins for your guns.
Yeah, that's the key difference. Is you can't improve your lot in the game, but with money you can change how you look.
Which is a
So-
good thing, I suppose.
So
It is because the game I play, that Kiss of War, you
Yeah.
can spend a shit ton of money and be the best person on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the thing. And the person with the
kills
most money
games.
is obviously going to be the best player.
Yeah.
So it's all skill based,
Yeah.
which I think is a lot better.
is
But
a
then
lot
again,
better.
they've clearly hit a market because people are paying crap loads of money for this stuff. That is literally virtual nothingness.
But you've got to think that the majority of these people that are playing Fortnite and spending a lot of money, surely it's kids.
I don't know. A lot of Twitch streamers now.
Ethan's done it.
Yeah, no, but
Twitch streamers. I know people that are 26 that I used to work with that have done it.
yeah, but are they earning
Still
money
doing it.
from
Yeah,
from
26
doing
still
their
kids to us.
Twitch stuff?
Twitch is a bit different because obviously, yeah, they're probably earning money,
So
to
they can
pay-
afford to then go and do
to
it.
afford
But I'm
to
talking
pay.
about your normal average person that's sitting in his bedroom is
I don't
probably
know.
going to be a kid that
I
wants.
don't know, because
Not
you think, like
necessarily.
Ronnie was saying, the game's free.
The game might be free,
So you
but
could probably justify, I'd probably spend 50 quid on a game nowadays, like
just one game, like the new COD now, 60
Cyberpunk and
quid.
stuff. Yeah, it's 50, 60 quid. So you
Well-
could probably justify, like, I'll buy a couple of new skins every week, every month, 20 quid, 10 a pound, whatever it might be. And
I mean, if you look
I
at the-
enjoy it. It's like, but do you spend money on
well,
your
this is
game?
what I was about to say. I do on this Kiss of War.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I have a £10 a month. It is.
Yeah.
But it's not. That is just to get gold.
That's one of the things.
There's
If
a
you look at
difference.
the amount invested for the entertainment value, I mean, compared to like the cinema where it's what 10, 15 quid for an hour and a half entertainment.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's a £5 now. Everyone's doing a £5
Yeah.
because
I bet they will be after lockdown.
because people
yeah.
stopped going to the cinema because it was
Yeah.
so fucking expensive.
Yeah. It
All
was
of them
stupid.
around here
you
started doing it at
noticed that?
£5.
View was cheap tickets but really expensive food.
It always really. It's a
And then
monopoly.
the showcase I thought was different.
It's
the
just
other way
expensive
round.
all the way around.
Yeah, it's
They've got a
stupid.
captive
You'd have
audience.
to have about 100 quid to just
But
go
the
cinema.
good thing,
Silly.
the good thing is about cinemas over here, as opposed to America, is you're allowed to take your own food in. So
Yeah.
people should do
But
that.
people don't know that.
I know.
People
Well, as long as
hot-
it's not cooked, you're
people
not allowed to take
generally
cooked
believe
food.
that
Yeah,
you
not
can't
cook.
take
You
your own
can't. You
food
can't
in.
take a curry in there.
Although when we've been to see the when we went to go and watch like the Marvel you do like the trio, like the three
Oh,
films
yeah,
they
yeah,
put on, and then at midnight you'd see the newest
Yeah.
one. Everybody had food in there. People were giving it was a wicked. It was such a good environment for watching a movie.
Yeah.
Everyone was chill. Everybody was like having a laugh. The first one we went, there was like 2 rows of people, and then by the time the last one we went to, it was absolutely packed. Every single seat was full, and everybody had everything from pizza to KFC
My
to everything.
my favourite viewing at a cinema was Christmas Day, and it was Star Wars. Couple of well, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6
Yeah.
years ago.
They
Just
always
by,
brought out this.
just by
Christmas.
myself.
Yeah.
I just went by myself because the missus didn't want to go. It was Christmas Day. We weren't
You went
actually
on
living.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, we weren't living together. The kids were at the mum's that year. I was like, I'm going to the fucking cinema.
Was
So
anyone there?
yeah, they were fucking packed. But I thought it was going to be empty. So I took a little bottle of rum with me and a few beers and walked down there and then got in there and I was like, oh, it's just me and a couple of others. And then about 10 minutes before it started, place was full.
Wow.
But it was such a nice atmosphere in there because it was Christmas Day.
Yeah, everyone was chill.
Everyone's well happy. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we're going off
Slowly
topic a bit
drunk, it
there.
was lovely.
Completely off topic. About
Yeah,
cinema.
who's meant to be anchoring?
I do
this?
have
Yeah, sorry.
here top 15 biggest franchises. So you went biggest top selling. This is
So Mario's number one.
franchises.
No,
of the-
it'll be poker twats.
Pokemon is first
There you go.
with 90 billion, I think.
But that is like
Dollars.
computer game
No,
franchise.
it's just
Video
franchise.
game
Oh,
franchises.
video game
but
franchise.
I think that's going to incorporate all of the stuff that goes
No,
around
this
it. because
just
it was
literally says video game
I
franchise.
know, but it was a video game first. It's like saying Marvel is a movie franchise.
well, all of the
but
rest
I
are
can
just,
go out and buy an
are
Iron
just
Man
video
lunchbox.
games. It's
So,
just video
just
games.
video games.
Okay.
Well, you got to think that
top
Pokemon was it
15.
Pokemon Go was
Pokemon
ridiculous.
Go literally brought
It-
Pokemon back.
It was
Yeah, it did.
stupid. Everyone was on it. People
Yeah.
with their phones out, walking into lampposts and shit,
Yeah.
trying to find.
Oh, well,
don't know.
we climbed Ben Lomond in Scotland, didn't we?
Yeah.
And there was Danish Ronnie. There was a guy that came with us. Who didn't come with us. We saw
Literally
him
looked like
halfway up.
you.
He looked like you. He's from Denmark.
We got to the top.
He got
and
to the
was
top and he had
looking
his
for
phone
Pokemon.
out. And we're like, you got no signal. Do you want me to take a photo? He went, no, I'm looking for Pokemon. At the top of Ben Lomond in Scotland.
Wow.
But did you
Talking
find
about
any?
that, talk about Pokemon. Did any of you hear about Logan Paul recently bought
Logan Paul can go fuck himself.
Yeah.
I'm sick of
Yeah,
hearing his
okay,
name on these
follow-
I don't
podcasts.
want to talk about it.
recently bought a load of booster boxes, first edition, which are like the first cards ever come out. Bought 5 boxes, I think, £2 million paid for them. and he's doing live streams. So you can buy one packet, so a pack of cards he's auctioning off, and he's doing a live stream on my birthday, 27th of Feb.
You're not having it.
No, it's too late now. They've already sold out. He's only doing one box, and the lowest price one packet sold for was 38 grand. The highest was 48. He sold the one box for £1 million. So he made his money back off one box already,
Wow.
pretty much.
Fools.
But you've got to remember that how much these cards are going to be worth now.
But they're only worth how much someone's willing to pay for them.
Exactly. So if someone's willing to pay 38 grand for one packet,
Yeah,
Now
but,
they
but
are.
that's now.
Today they are.
now
That's
yeah,
also from
he's
him as well.
basically he's increased the prices of Pokemon.
I've got some trading cards for Star Wars, and then they're not.
No, I know, but Pokemon now is massive because of him. He has made it.
It
big.
is, but you're talking now. It's like
When-
having shares. It's just no different than having shares. They
Yeah.
can go up and down.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If
Yeah,
the value
they
starts to-
could go
yeah,
down, but
yeah.
at the minute, if someone's paying 38 grand, they're very unlikely to go down right now.
Well, no, but unless
So
he,
if
unless
you
he sells them straight away, he's not going to make his money back.
Well, not necessarily.
sold
He
them.
might not. But
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's a strange sort of economy, isn't it?
He's already
Buying-
made his money back.
buying
Pretty much. He got $1
trading
million for
cards.
one box.
I mean, the person that bought them for 38 grand
Buy
is
the
not
bought
going to
them.
get that money back.
No, not unless he sells them now for more.
Not unless he sells.
If
I
he
mean,
waits a year, the value could come.
how many do you
down
get in
again.
each
So
pack?
one card now. So one of the cards in one of
Yeah,
them
I know,
packs.
but I know now they
know.
are right
Yeah,
now.
no, I'm
they
just
are.
talking right now. How
Yeah,
many?
what does
how
that
many,
matter? The prices are going up in Pokemon at the minute.
How many cards do you get in a pack?
11,
11.
and one of them is a Charizard, which is worth 400 grand
Wow.
just for the one card out of the 11 you get in a pack.
Do you
If
always
you
get
get
one of them?
it,
If you,
no.
If you get it,
If
yes,
you
it's
get
the
it, but that's
rarity
the
of
whole
that
point,
card, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
But them cards are still rare because they're first edition and they're
It's a form of
not
gambling.
remade again.
Yeah.
It's a form of gambling. It's like having shares.
Yeah.
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 Speculating.
But yeah, anyway, we're going off topic again.
But
Second is Mario.
we'll stay with that for a
It's not,
second
'cause
because
it's an important one. That is.
I've never understood. And
Well,
probably
right
never
now,
will.
people are saying if you're going to go shares are out, Pokemon's the way forward at the minute.
No.
Well, they
I'm
are.
not
If you
into that.
if you're actually into Pokemon like I am,
If you're
and
into
look into
Pokemon,
it,
you are,
a
yeah.
lot of people are saying if you're going to invest your money, Pokemon is a good way to go.
I mean, I'd speak to a financial advisor.
Yeah.
But I've never
You can
really
say that,
understood.
but a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah, I've
I
never
know,
really
I know,
understood
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
the
You don't
the
really look
the
into stuff like
purchasing
that.
of trading cards. I get when you used to have football trading cards,
Yeah.
and you stick them in a book,
Yeah.
done.
A lot of people aren't just doing it to just make money. People are doing it for nostalgia
Yeah,
and stuff like
it's
that.
a lot of money for nostalgia, isn't it?
And the thing that like Logan
got
Paul's
it.
saying is, you're not just buying the packs, it's like spending that money. You're buying the experience as well. So he's shouting you out on one of the biggest platforms ever. So if we bought a pack, our YouTube channel will be shouted out.
I could
on
ring
his-
into this morning, tomorrow, and get shouted out by Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield for nothing.
But that's why that.
No,
pack's
but I'm
worth
just
38
you're
grand.
forgetting how big of a
That.
YouTube
But
platform YouTube is.
So is it? You're not going to get anything from him.
I-
calling
I-
your name
of course you
out.
are.
I can no
There's a
longer.
YouTuber I follow that bought a pack off him at the beginning of lockdown when he did it at the beginning of lockdown, and he gained he said 300,000 subscribers just from it.
It's
Just
for
from him
marketing.
being. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's literally.
I,
you're not just paying for that. He said he made his money back in ad revenue off from buying that pack. He bought it for 11 grand at the time. He made his money back in ad revenue just from posting about Logan Paul's thing.
See, that's the thing. Those
Wow.
cards aren't worth 11 grand. That he paid 11 grand for them because it was that guy on YouTube selling them, and it included a shout out. But they doesn't make those cards worth 11 grand now, though.
Well, you can't buy a box now, base set box for less than. Well, now Logan Paul's got involved. I don't think you're going to get one for less than 500 grand.
Yeah, he's popularised them again.
Yeah, he's put the price.
they can
up.
quite
Like I say,
easily
most things are only
manage.
worth as much as someone's willing to pay,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
someone's not willing to pay for it, then the money drops right out of them. So if all of a sudden it comes out that Pikachu touched kids, then the money goes down the drain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So
very much doubt
It's
it.
rarity as well. So what you're saying is basically there's this whole movement around about like this massive push towards buying collectible, these things that they're considered collectible. So the whole point that everyone's buying them almost reduces their rarity, which
But that's the thing
in
with
effect reduces their
with
value.
base set cut.
But long term, let's say 5 years time, oh, I've got this full book of Pokemon. Well, loads of people have got those because
but
5
I'm-
years ago,
That's what we're
people
trying.
were paying up to 11 grand for them.
But first edition, they're not reprinting.
Yeah, that's the
They
thing.
were printed in 1999 and haven't
Yes.
been printed
So
since.
they,
and
yeah,
there's
they
only a
might,
certain amount of them.
they might hold their value, possibly.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Obviously, now with modern day cards, is different prices vary.
can you
Yeah,
imagine
but-
spending 38 grand on a pack of Pokemon cards and the Royal Mail losing them.
You would be pissed off.
They're leaving them next door. Next
You-
door,
you
and the
tried
dog
up to
gets it.
£40.
Arr.
But
You're
as
insured
well
up
as
to £40.
you're buying the
If they would have dropped through the door, Meanie would have had them in a mouth.
he gets them. He doesn't just like he gets them graded for you as well and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that
it's
increases
an
the
alien world.
value.
It's an alien world to me. It is an alien, but I would say it would be much better.
It depends what Pokemon cards, what set you're investing in.
Yes. but
There's
what
that
I-
many different sets you can invest in that are worth
Yeah,
more
I would say
money.
it's better to buy them at face value and hope to get a rarity or hope to complete a collection that then
Well, you
becomes
couldn't
worth
now.
money
You couldn't
rather
do
than
that
buying
now.
one that's
No, you
rather than
couldn't.
buying a set that
But
is already
you
£1 million
couldn't do that now.
So are
No, if you're
Pokemon
investing, you're
cards
not
still
investing with
available.
modern cards.
Pardon?
Are Pokemon cards
Yeah, they're
still
celebrating
printed
the
now?
25th anniversary this year.
Yeah,
Bringing
the-
out a
the-
new set.
Yeah, so basically, it's one of the things. It's a bit like comic books. If you have, I mean, you've like a series like X-Men. If you buy a modern X-Men comic book, it's going to be a few quid, and it's not going to be worth more than that few quid now. If you bought the original X-Men comic book, it was a few quid at the time, but it's now going to be worth thousands because it's no longer in print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
exactly
where
the
the
same
rarity
thing.
lies. So
Except
I'm
for
not
this,
saying,
there's a
when I say people are saying invest in Pokemon cards, I'm not saying like go to the shop and buy one at the corner shop. What they're saying is buy the older style. If you've got the money, buy the old cards that you know will be worth money.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
like
like-
whiskies
it's
and
like-
things,
it
whiskies
is
and
like-
wines.
It is like anything though.
Yeah,
it only, it
yeah.
only becomes, value.
Well, this is literally
value for
Pokemon
money.
has only blown up because of Logan Paul, and everyone will say it. It was big. It's big, and it was worth a lot of money, but now it is worth crap more.
Maybe that's
because
the
of
new.
him.
I mean, let's take another example. Very
Star
very
Wars.
recent. No, GameStop. The GameStop stock
Yeah.
happened. So we're probably looking a little bit from the outside because I'm not really into this sort of online YouTube.
That was
tech
a
world
Reddit
like the Ethan is.
Reddit thing, wasn't
Exactly.
it?
Yeah. So that's again a massive wave of people that are using the internet, all coming together en masse and saying, let's do this one thing in the
Well,
same way they are with like
What
say,
they did
Pokemon.
there was just try and screw over hedge funds.
But they could only do it through the power of the internet, which is
Massively,
and
yeah.
that's the only reason that like Ethan's just said, that's the only reason Pokemon's become good again, because there's this platform now to get to create. So someone like Logan Paul can manufacture
A market.
a market. Yeah.
I mean, the market was already there, and it was still a very vibrant market. It's just, yeah, he has had an influence on it.
Yeah.
I currently have right here a Pokemon card that I bought off eBay, £15 just for the card. It's base set Fossil, so it's a reprint of first edition Fossil, which was in 1999.
Not fossil. Bob
So,
Fossil.
yeah.
Did you say fossil?
So this card, if I get it graded, it's in a pretty decent condition. I think it'll be about a graded 7, worth about £400.
Wow.
What about if I put teeth marks in it?
I'd kill you.
Send it to me, house. I promise I will not put teeth marks in it.
But that only cost me £15. So if I get that, and it cost me about £10 to grade it.
But you say that because my wife Rachel been on the podcast before, lovely lady. She's
Why
an
did you
insurance
laugh
bro-
after
she's she made me say it. She's an insurance broker, and she's been working with a company who are looking to set up, and this is what they're looking to do, is grading Pokemon cards.
Well,
No,
put
they
me in
can't get
touch with
insurance anywhere. They can't get insurance anywhere because Rachel's speaking to actual insurers and saying this is what they want to do, and they're like, what? But they're not ready for these new emerging markets. It's like
No.
a lot of them aren't ready for electric vehicles and insurance for those and things like that. It's like they're not ready for these emerging markets, and they come in thick and fast because there's a whole, like, how many followers does Logan Paul have?
Millions.
I wouldn't even know. A few
So
million.
hold that card up to the camera, Ethan, so I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's called was that say
Zapdos, my
Zapdos.
favorite Pokemon. So this is basically me.
So I've never seen a Pokemon card before.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a bit like Top Trumps because it's got like points and stuff on it? What?
Sort of, yeah. You can do like Pokemon card battles.
Did you ever play the?
Never played the game, no.
No.
I did it at school actually with some old
So is
cards.
that
But
what,
me and
originally what it
Hayden-
was? Was it like a bit like Top Trumps and you?
Yeah,
you
literally.
okay.
Not really. Sorry, it's I used to imagine it-
More. Yeah.
There's tactics. In fact, I mean, I'm kind of the other end to Ethan. I used to play Magic the Gathering, which is another collectible card game, but I played it purely for the playing rather than the actual collecting. And it is a very, very tactical game. It's kind of a combination of it's like playing chess, except you get to choose the pieces you play with. So there's the level of there's the the tactics of the actual game itself when you're sitting opposite a person, but there's the tactics of putting together the pieces you play with as well. So there's kind of 2 levels of depth to it.
Oh.
Yeah, not
Is
quite.
that collectible as well?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the stuff that I used to play with back in '99 is probably worth a lot more now. But yeah,
Have you still got it?
No. I've sold my collection.
That's what I was going to say. Like me and Hayden used to collect Pokemon cards when we were younger, and Hayden still has quite a few of his, but they're all battered and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were going through them, and we were like looking at the prices now. If they were literally mint condition, they're worth about like 600, 700 quid. And we're like, imagine if we knew that when we were younger.
You just don't because you get them.
You don't, obviously, because we're playing.
Yeah, but you're playing a game.
But there are like I watch a YouTuber called Randolph, and he said when he was younger, his mum was really into Pokemon, and she got him into collecting cards, but she made him look after them.
Right.
So like he's got collections worth thousands and thousands of pounds.
Well, like baseball cards.
I think to a degree, it's similar to things like whiskies and wines, where there's 2 ways.
Yeah,
of doing
like
it.
the older it is, the more it's going to be.
But also, I mean, there's chance. I mean, any kind of batch of wine can be either go up or down in price depending on a combination of factors and popularity. But then also there's people who will collect and trade wine, and there's people who will buy and drink those wines and whiskies. Like John, you had the story with your dad's whiskey that you guys enjoyed.
Yeah,
and
the
then realised-
Macallan.
Yeah,
Macallan, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea. But that just comes from rarity.
Yeah.
That comes from like you get bought a bottle of whiskey and it's a certain reserve. There's only so many of them made, and over the years they will start to get drunk by people.
Yeah, I think
the rarity of that.
I think it is
It's a very
slightly
similar
different.
thing.
I think it's slightly different
Those
because
edition cards you can't actually get these days because there were so many were printed, and of those ones that are printed, so many would have been played with and therefore become like lower graded,
thrown in the bin or
just used to play games. In which case they become scuffed and they become bent and they become less pristine. So to actually find base edition cards that haven't been played with that are like still in sealed packs, so are going to be in absolute mint condition, is going to be a rarity.
There you are. Exciting. So let's bring it round a bit.
Just 1 second. With the I think it is slightly different because whiskey and wines are not something that's necessarily going to go away. They're not a fad. Whereas, like you say, Logan Paul's brought this back. And
He's brought it back. It was always a big.
Yeah, but it
was
wasn't
always a big thing. But he's made it bigger.
Like what Ronnie said is very true. Pokemon's quite big in the right. So whiskey is only big if you're into whiskey.
But that
and same as wine.
Yeah.
So it's for posh people.
The majority of people, majority of the UK population that are allowed to drink, will always probably drink for the rest of their life.
Probably.
Whereas,
but they're not going to own a very expensive bottle of whiskey.
Well, maybe not.
And if they do, and they wanted to then cash in on that, they're going to go to a very specific market.
Yes.
Which would be whiskey lovers, connoisseurs, collectors. Yeah. So if you.
But
if your son moved out of home to university, you were going through all of his stuff, and you found a book full of Pokemon cards, you could do the same thing with the whiskey. You could go to a very specific market.
Yeah.
A comic book. Let's say you went to another world in town.
That's what
I've got a whole book of Pokemon cards.
What I'm saying is,
what have you got here?
What I'm saying is that I would say that the collection of Pokemon cards is probably more of a fad. All right, it's been going on a while, but it's more of a fad than
25 years.
But it's only because it's new.
Yeah, but that's what I said.
You could have said that with comic books when they first started.
You could, but what I'm saying is, you said that Logan Paul's perhaps brought it back and it's now mainstream again, and that's the reason.
He's not brought it back. He's just made it.
Well, you said brought it back. Yeah.
I didn't mean to bring it back. He's just brought the price up on it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. He's brought the price up because there's now he's a personality. Well, you say that, but he's a personality that's brought interest into a sector. You don't get that with whiskey. It's just constantly. People are always drinking.
But only because that market has been well established for a long period
That's
of time.
what I mean. It's a well-established market. Yeah. It's very likely if you buy currently a bottle of Macallan special edition, that's not going to be worth money in future. Whereas you could buy a pack of Pokemon cards now that may not be worth money in the future.
They may not,
possibly.
But then you can't. But if you look at it like, it's been going for 25 years now, and it's the biggest franchise in the world. I don't think you should call it a phase.
I think it's very new to us because it is so new.
Yeah,
I think if we were to look back in, you're right. If we look back in another 25 years, it may have all gone away. But the same with,
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think you're going to get that with whiskey.
Probably not with whiskey, but I don't think you will with these either.
Or cigars.
Because
there'll always be somebody who's interested.
Anything element of collectability to it, it's always going to have a market. There's always going to be look at baseball cards in America, and you can now, if you've still got your Panini football sticker books and stuff like that, they're worth money.
Yeah,
not as much
because the market for them is shrinking baseball cards is an American thing. No one over here collects them. It's only good in America. But worldwide, if worldwide, you can sell a bottle of whiskey to Japan. You can sell a bottle of whiskey because the market never goes.
Pokemon's worldwide now as well.
It is.
The thing. The Panini football sticker thing was like, it would have been just in the UK.
What I'm saying is that whiskey and stuff is never going to go. That's always going to be there.
But who knows?
Well, I think
more than likely,
that's
away.
always going to be there.
Of course it is.
Whereas,
it is. While drinking alcohol is fashionable. If alcohol ever went the way of cigarettes and they decided, it became illegal or whatever, very hypothetical, then there is a chance that those things would become less valuable.
You've got that 1982 packet of Camels. That was worth a fortune.
I love it. No, but I mean, cigarettes didn't become illegal. They just became,
less popular.
Unfashionable.
Yeah.
But there's still, I mean, you can't walk down a street without seeing someone smoking.
Yeah, true.
I
think this is all very new. This goes the same way the video games. So, like my friend Carl, he's got a couple of SNES games which are worth nearly £100.
Yeah.
Because he's kept them they're well boxed. He bought them. He knew what he was looking for. That console is only 25 years old.
Yeah.
That's not going away. It's an emerging market.
That I think it will, because the SNES was something we played as kids.
Yeah.
People then recapture their youth playing a game that they played as kids, and that's where the rarity and the interest comes in. Because I used to play that as a kid.
Yeah.
OAPs aren't going to be buying a game for a SNES, and the next generation after us never owned a SNES.
No.
So there'll be no.
But that's
need that game for that. So I think he's got a finite amount of time to make money on that game.
I don't know though, because that's the same with records. They're
that's like saying I like cars. Now. I don't want to buy a 1969 Mustang because it's 50, 60 years old, and I don't remember driving a 1969 Mustang. But I drive cars now, so I want to appreciate. If I'm a massive car enthusiast, I want to appreciate all the old ones as well. And because there's a market for it, because they are so old. And it's like, that's the history of the thing that you're into, in the same way that if you're really into video games and retro gaming is massive. It's like, there's magazines for it. It's like, because it's a new thing, but it's not going to go away because gaming is out. Like we just said, it's our generation.
Yeah,
it's only just started.
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. It's retro gaming, but it's only 30 years old, realistically.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is when Ethan grows up, he's not going to have an interest in the SNES.
Yeah, because he has no interest in it now. And he's a gamer,
but he might not. But people that are,
but that's what I mean. The market is just going to be. So I'm not saying it's going to disappear and no one's going to be interested.
I would one of them gamers.
You're not. But someone of your generation,
like Ronnie,
perhaps would
maybe.
Be.
Or...
Yeah, but Ronnie's our generation. What I'm saying is that market is then shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and then the item that is up for sale is no longer, it's not got a bigger market to go to, therefore it can't demand such a high price.
But the rarity increases as well.
Dies out with the people that used to play it. I don't think it will. In the same way that old cars and die out with the people that
cars
used to ride them.
Cars are slightly different because they're a mode of transport. So I'm talking about this is
but people buy them for. So paintings. People want to buy an old painting.
That's art
because it's an old painting.
Yeah, but that's art.
But a game could be art. Could be
comic books.
It's rarity.
I get what you're saying,
but comic books. People want an old comic book, not necessarily because the old comic books are any good, because they're probably shitting compared to comic books now with the graphic novels and things. But if they're into that, they're going to be in that. So you could be into comic books and just enjoy them, or you could be into them and be a real collector. In the same way that in the years to come, people will be like Ethan's generation. Some people will be really into gaming.
Yeah.
And they'll have their own YouTube channel about gaming. Go, guess what I found on the internet the other day? It's an original 1992 SNES entertainment system. It's still got in box. It's still got there's only a few of these left. Like there will be a market for it.
But that's
just a new
I'm not denying there'll be a market. I just think it will be a very small market because when things progress, we talk about comics. I mean, they're still being made now. And the reason that people buy old comics is because of their rarity, same as the Pokemon cards and things like that.
Yeah.
Computers and computer gaming. Well, how often do you go back and play some of the old games? I mean,
I don't personally.
I mean, a lot of people
but
won't
gaming is going to continue, and it's not going away.
I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not saying it's going to go away. I'm just saying that the market for that. So those SNES games that your mate's got, he's going to have they might be worth £100 now because of the nostalgia of them to our generation. As our generation gets older, that money he'd be able to get back on those games gets smaller and smaller because
I
our
don't think it will.
generation
I think,
aren't
I
going to
think
be
the
buying
exact
them.
opposite.
Yeah,
I
I think
this
opposite as well.
this whole geek generation, this whole nerd thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think those people are into everything from movie franchises to video games. And I think I think somebody 30 years from now is going to be just as interested in a console from the 90s as somebody who was
Even
in the
more
90s.
probably.
Even more so.
I think it'd be quite
Yeah.
interesting to see, because I don't think it will be. I don't think your friend will be able to sell his what's it game, any of his SNES games for £100 in 30 years time.
I think
See, I think
they'll
they will.
be
I think
more
they-
rare.
They'll go way up in
There'll be
value.
less copies
I think
available
it'll
as
be
well.
more.
Value.
There'll be
I
less
really
copies
do.
available. It'll be even more rare because everyday like SNES consoles
Yeah,
will be
in
dying.
box-
This is where rarity comes from. So I've had this conversation with, I think it was Rachel Daddy. This is where rarity comes from. It comes from the fact that people didn't think anything was going to. There was nothing. It was the throwaway thing.
Yeah.
It was something that people didn't even think about keeping. And unfortunately, a lot of people didn't think about keeping consoles. A new console comes in, so they get rid of the old one. So that is going to increase their rarity, because by definition, people just upgrade and get rid of rather than keep hold of.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who's still got any of those things, the world of video games is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that, I don't, it moves forward, but it doesn't move forward and forget everything that's happened in the past. Everything that's happened in the past is part of, I mean, you can go on Netflix now and there's so many documentaries on video gaming and from when it started in the 70s and stuff. And they talk about, like, if you were to have that original Atari ET game, which is considered the worst video game ever made,
Yeah.
if you were to have that original Atari video game, it's worth a fortune now, because they literally dug holes in the earth and buried them all.
Yep.
They filled them and landfilled just because it was the worst. It was rushed out. It was poorly coded. It was made to coincide with the release of the movie.
Now,
It was appalling.
this will be
It was unplayable. It was actually
And
unplayable.
you can think of it.
Yeah,
You can
yes.
think of it as like whiskey. The older it gets, the more vintage it is.
Yeah, yeah.
but
And
what
more
we'll
people will want it.
we'll say in regards to that, there's loads of documentaries out there and lots of programs about video games and the retro video gaming. And who are they made by?
Our generation, yeah.
Our generation.
But we're the first generation.
Exactly.
We're the first generation to understand video games.
Exactly.
So let's
So
say
for
in
your
another
first
30
generation,
years-
it might not be a big deal for you, but for a generation that's never ever touched that or know of it,
No, but that's
they
what I'm
might
saying.
want
It's
it.
our generation going back and going, look at these games.
I don't think it is just your generation. I think it is our generation as well,
Yeah.
thinking we want that console. We
I'm
want to
not-
play that.
if you're into
It's literally the
football,
same
you
as
had some
records.
football
I don't
memorabilia
think
from the 1960s.
any kid of yours is going to, our grandkids or great grandkids will be going, I need a PlayStation.
Not
I
I
need
need.
a SNES.
It's not an
I
I
want
need
to
thing.
collect.
I
I'm
want.
I just don't see it happening, because
It's a niche market, I'll grant you,
It's
but so's buying whiskey.
but it's
But who would go out, Ronnie? Would you go out and buy a £700 bottle of whiskey?
No.
I don't think any of us will. I might.
yes, I would.
That's what I mean. It's a very niche market in the same
But I
way.
wouldn't. But I might want an old
An old
Sega
console.
Mega
If
Drive or
someone, if
whatever
there was
it is.
like, yeah, you went to like, and Cole does this a minute because he picks them up for cheap. He can pick.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes he does pay money for stuff, but he always goes to car boot sales and stuff, and he'll always pick up the odd little game here and there, some in good condition, some not. But that work, you've got to. It's a bit like the Pokemon thing. You're at the not the very first point, because they're already starting to become collectible now. Hence, like the whole retro gaming thing is a movement now. It's a thing that's only going to get bigger as we surge forward and young people get more and more into gaming. They're going to want to look back at. I mean, it's the same with anything. Like I say, it's nostalgia. Collectibles and memorabilia surrounds every niche: football, sport.
Oh, I completely agree. I think
And I don't think that's going to change for
I'm
video
not.
games.
I'm not arguing with you. I just don't think the market is going to be there for those.
Well, just look at that.
Not as big a market.
I think
That museum
I
that
do honestly. I
opened.
think the exact opposite. I think it could possibly be one of the biggest markets, because I think video gaming is just, and computing, like this whole point of this conversation, is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think anything that's attached to that thing. Imagine like if it gets to, when we've not talked about esports yet either. Imagine talking about like you've got your grand champion in 30 years time of esports gets given for the championship prize the very first off the production line super like Nintendo Entertainment System.
See, I don't
It's
think
like-
they should be allowed to call it sports.
Well, it is though, isn't
interesting.
it?
That's a
just
that-
don't-
that's-
But like, I'm just gonna say, like that museum that opened in Nottingham, that old gaming museum.
yeah, retro gaming museum.
Yeah,
There's a couple
that
of them
was-
now. There's one in Cambridge as
But
well.
we're saying retro, but it's our generation.
But I know, but now
literally
it is-
our
Well,
generation.
it's 80s, isn't it?
And
Yeah,
you're only
yeah.
just starting. That's only just a new thing. So imagine what it's going to be like in 30 years' time.
Yeah,
It's
it
something
could-
like that's going to be like gold dust. And
it could,
people are
it
going to
could
want
just
it.
be nothing.
Yeah.
And I
There
think, honestly, I think that's the way it'll
I don't
go.
know, it's like movie
Well, no, but
memorabilia.
there are pre-our generation. There are things like the old Atari consoles, and I mean, like the original Pong machines. They are still collectible, and they're pre-our generation.
The
Yeah.
Pong machines were arcade, weren't they?
Or
But
like
also putting the
records,
TV with
really
the-
All
old,
the plug-in ones.
really
yeah.
old mint condition records. What about them? Because you're into your music. That's sort of
Never owned a record player in my life.
But then collectible.
Yeah, I know they are.
Collectible. But
They-
they're
they
only,
co-
they're
they
only
come
collectible
back.
but they're only collectible if you're into music.
Yeah. But they came back. You know, records started to become a
But
thing
they
again.
were but they were never not rare.
But there was a period of a good 20 years where no one gave a shit about vinyls.
No, they didn't, unless you were in that market. If you were in the world of music and vinyl,
They
and
don't
you
just
had
come
like
back
an
from
original,
nothing.
Yeah, you
Someone's
had like
gotta
an
have
original, let's
Well,
say Beatles.
The reason that one of the reasons they came
Sergeant,
back was
whatever it's
because
called,
it was because of Record Day music. What was it called? Record Day. I can't remember. But basically, music shops used to sell just vinyls
But
for
I
the
reckon
day. and
tapes
stuff
are
like that.
making a comeback as well now. Tapes
Yeah.
are becoming, because again, it's a medium that has been lost. That people like to have something tangible.
But if you've got a 1980s Bros cassette, you ain't making £100 for it. It's
No,
just
not
it's,
now,
you know what I mean?
not,
It's
not
just-
now. But you might in.
You got to
60
just
years'
think. You got to
time.
think of what things get when it gets older. It's going to be more.
Yeah, I know, I
Not,
com-
not all video games and not all consoles will be worth a lot of money.
I completely
Some will.
understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. The rarity side of things. I just think the market isn't going to be
I think
big enough.
because I think
I don't know
gaming's
how
just
you
going to
can
get
think that.
bigger.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
because
gaming's going to get
that's
so
like
big
saying
that it's going to be a
game,
big.
the world, everyone's going to just suddenly fall out of love with video gaming.
No, it's not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the market for the old stuff is going to be because if
But that's the same thing. If you're into something, really into it, you're into it all of it.
no, well you're
Just
not.
look like
You-
Ready
I think
Player
you're not.
One.
But you're not. You're
Ready
not.
Player One is like all
So
the old. They
you're-
literally love the old games in that film.
That's great. But if you're into something, it doesn't mean you have to be into its past. You can be into it and into its present and future.
You don't have to be,
And so,
but a lot of people are.
well,
And the more people that are into gaming, the chances are the more percentage of those people, like say comic books. I used to quite like reading comic books. I was never into collecting them, but then you'll get one person who is into comic books who loves collecting them, especially all the old ones.
yeah. I completely understand what you're saying.
I
What
know, we're
you're
sort
not
of going
understanding
really
is
off topic here.
the
no,
the
it's
market
about
for
video
it is going to be ever shrinking, is what I'm saying.
But I can't.
But I disagree.
I don't see how
It's-
it could be shrinking.
You say that
because-
basically people
What's
that
that one, eh?
our generation are going to we're going to pass away, and then it's other kids going to be as interested. But I mean, I personally am a photographer, and I collect cameras that are pre my generation, and they're not as good as modern cameras. They're not as usable as modern cameras, but because they are a part of photography and they're a part of the history of photography, I still find them hugely.
But they're not
interesting,
they're not usable. Did you say?
A lot of them
Some
aren't. Yeah,
are a little-
well,
some
they
of
are.
them
They are, but they're not. You wouldn't use them to actually do the job of photography. You couldn't use
And
them.
But
that's a fair
but so
point.
that to me then negates the point of buying a console to enjoy the retro gaming aspect.
Not
So-
at all.
Because
I
if
think
it's
it's
if it was a
flexibility.
similar
You-
thing,
you collect to collect, not
Just
to
for
play.
the retro
to use.
gaming, it's to have a rare piece of history.
Well,
To
same as
have a
whiskies.
rare-
You buy old whiskey. You don't buy them to drink them. Well, sometimes you might drink some of them, but a lot of people
Yes,
will
you do.
collect.
Not-
Yeah.
Not
Yes,
everyone
you
does,
do.
though.
No, not everyone though. A lot of people
No,
collect
you buy a
wines and
very expensive.
I'm sorry, but if I'm buying a bottle of whiskey for £1,000, I'm drinking that bitch.
Really?
yeah.
That's a
You
very
wouldn't
good point,
wait?
Roddy. So that,
What?
let's,
No.
You
Why
wouldn't
would I
save
wait?
it, so
Let's say-
it
let's
becomes
say-
more.
let's say
No,
there's
because I'm
how-
not buying it as an investment. I'm buying it.
But
as
Some
a
people
drink.
do buy it as an investment.
That's
there's
the
a
thing.
lot of people
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
massively.
But
So
that-
imagine all the photographers that were like that Ronnie knows does photography. He might be the only there might be only 2 or 3 that are really into the history of photography. Out of all those photographers, in the same way in gaming, you've got all these people that are into gaming. There might only be a few of them that are into the retro gaming. What I'm trying to say is that there's more and more people now. You took a snapshot of people that are into video gaming now. Of the people
It's going to be the most of the majority
You've
of.
got Ronnie who's into it the most, then Ethan, then me, then you. If you go forward 20 years, everybody in that room would probably be into gaming. So the percentage, and let's say there's only one person in this room that collects out of the 4 of us. Well, let's say next year or in 20 years' time, there's 8 people that are into video gaming. Well, then that's 4 people that are into the history of it, because the world of gaming is getting so much bigger. Therefore, the percentage of people that are also into the retro stuff and the history of that is also surely going to get bigger, because the whole pool of people that are into it is growing and growing and growing.
I think you're wrong in that regard. I really do, because I think you're basing it on. So what I'm saying is the nostalgia side of things is going to disappear.
Yes.
I don't know how
With
it
each-
could though.
For the game consoles people are buying now are old retros, so the N64 and the Amigas and the RT.
Yeah.
They're not going to be buying them. They're going to be buying PlayStation 1s and 2s, and then in 20 years' time, they're going to be buying the Xboxes.
I see what you're saying. For the nostalgia, yes, but I'm not talking for nostalgia. I'm talking about, like we're saying, Pokemon's collectability.
But then that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's going to be a massive market for those things.
But that's like, so Ethan's just proven that completely wrong, because he's saying that you can buy Pokemon, like the most expensive Pokemon cards you can buy are the original first edition,
1999.
£2 million worth. So if you had an original Nintendo Entertainment System and everyone's buying PS3s that came out 30 years ago, but someone comes along and goes, hold on, chaps, I've got an original Nintendo Entertainment System here. That could be worth £1 million.
No,
because they're so rare.
No,
well, that's the
Well,
same.
that's just your
and it won't be because of the amount of things that were produced for these consoles.
Well,
But
obviously,
you could say that again with Pokemon cards.
Only now.
So many were produced.
Not at the beginning.
But in 30 years' time,
Not at the beginning. There was not that many. Not
But
not
there's not
like
going to be any.
consoles.
There's not going to be any original.
there's no more being
There's
made.
no-
So
no,
there's no more being made,
smaller.
So
How
they're
many-
so rare.
But
and
how many
so-
PlayStation 1s were made?
Oh, loads, and they won't be as
Ridiculous amount.
I know, but
that's
we're not
how-
saying that.
saying in future.
We're not
that's
saying that
going
the
to get
modern day
smaller and smaller.
Pokemon cards are worth so much. We're saying the first ever made Pokemon cards are
Yeah,
worth
I
the
know.
most.
I get what you're saying. I just disagree with you. I just don't think it's right.
Well,
I think
you're
that
wrong. That's
well-
it. Sorted. You're
Well,
wrong.
we'll find
Let's
out.
move on.
We'll find out in 30
Let's talk about
years
esports.
when we're doing episode
212.
6,930.
How will we
And
not
we'll
be in
go,
30
oh,
years?
and I'll go, oh, by the way, fuckers, anyone tried to buy a PlayStation 1
I think you
recently?
Can't get them because they're worth £1 million.
Yeah, here's one on eBay for £3.
I think in 30 years you'll be one of them that's be like,
In
I wish
30
I
years,
bought a Nintendo.
in 30
So
years
worth
I'll be
crap
dead.
loads.
But the thing is, I don't.
How old will you be in 30 years?
It won't be the age, it'll be the beaties that gets me.
I think a lot of people now would buy those sort of consoles. I say Carl does play on his SNES, but he also has Mega Drives and entertainment systems. I think he might even have like Ataris. He doesn't play them all. He does play the SNES for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah.
But he does collect all of the consoles. He does collect all the games for all the consoles because he's just he's just into it.
Yeah.
And I just think, like I say, that there's going to be more and more people into it as the years go on. And I think, ergo, you're going to get more people that are into the history, into the collectability side of it. Probably maybe don't even play as much, just enjoy collecting in the same way that some people like Ronnie enjoys collecting his cameras but never uses them.
What I'm trying to say is our generation gets these old ones because that's their nostalgia.
But if that was the case,
Hang
then
on.
I got
Hang
what
on.
you're saying.
No, hang
I
on.
do
Hang on.
know what you're saying.
In Ethan's generation, they're not necessarily
You're just
going to be buying it.
but it'll be
for-
collectible.
Hang on. They're not necessarily going to be buying it for the nostalgia.
No, of course they're not.
So,
Granted
but this card
that-
here-
that's
Hang
true.
on.
No, I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
So they're going to be buying it for the collectability.
So, but
Yeah,
that's
so-
the market.
Hang
then.
on, fuck's sake, will you shut up? So yes, there's going to be people interested. There will be a market for it.
Talk about
I
this
just
for half
don't think there's
hour.
going to be a great monetary, it's not going up in price, to say a game costing then £100.
No, I think
I just
you're-
don't
you're
think it's
wrong.
going to happen.
I think
At
No,
the
I
minute,
think the rarity increases
maybe.
though as well. The rarity is going to increase as well because
Oh yeah,
every
it
day
is, but also the rarity increases and the number of people that then want that are also shrinking. So it doesn't
but
necessarily
you're
say
assuming
that because there's only 10,000 left in the world, there might
No,
only
no.
be 10,000 people that want them, which makes them not that.
But you're assuming that the only people that want them for nostalgic reasons.
No, they could be buying them as collectors. That's fine.
But then,
the number of collectors
could increase.
Then the pool of people is just the same. In fact, it's bigger than if they were buying them for nostalgic reasons. Because if they're into gaming, and like we just said, if more people the percentage of people that are into gaming is growing, then ergo the percentage of people that are also going to be into collecting, whether it be for nostalgic reasons or not, is going to get bigger.
But they will probably be buying the ones that they.
No, that's
And
what I'm saying.
nostalgia will-
That's what I'm saying.
uh,
But,
nostalgia
but
will.
not for nostalgic reasons,
yeah.
because
Like this
so-
card here, then it was 1999. I was born in 2001.
Yeah.
I'm not bought it for nostalgia.
No, you bought it
I
because
bought
you're a
it
fucking
collect-
idiot.
I bought it because it's my favorite Pokemon and it's
Yeah.
collectible. You can
Yeah,
call me an
in the same
idiot.
way that if I was into
You
card
can call me an
collecting,
idiot, but if that generally is going to be worth like 400 quid, I'm not really an idiot, have I?
that-
'Cause I've
if-
made
if it
way
was-
more than
if
my
it was
money
all for
back.
nostalgia, I think you'd see that with all collectibles. I think you'd see anybody that was into collectibles would only ever buy stuff from their era.
No,
I don't
they
think
wouldn't.
people
No,
would- Well, then yeah, you go there.
No,
So
but-
people are willing. If I'm into cars and I'm willing to buy a car that's from my era, like a Ferrari F40,
Yeah.
because that's my era. I remember the Ferrari F40 top trumps, all of that. But then I might also be willing to buy a 1969 Mustang, because that's pre my era. But I'm so into cars, I'm into my era and then before. And I think that's the same with absolutely everything. I think if you're into it, whether it's your era or not. And I think you're right. There's always going to be people that will only buy for nostalgic reasons. Take them out of the equation. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the collectors. If you're a collector, then you're going to be collecting from all the eras because you're a collector.
Yeah, and
I
that's
think
fine.
you're going to get more collectors because there's going to
I
be.
just don't think there's
more
going to
video
be
game people.
collectors of video games and video consoles
What do you
that-
guys think? Let us know.
that is going to be keeping the price of a SNES game at £100 or more in 20 years' time. I just don't see it, because it's not something that I think is going to hold up.
I don't know. I think exactly the opposite. I think if you're going to collect anything, I think stuff like that is only going to get more and more. Is only going to get bigger because that world is becoming. Hence, we're doing this podcast about it. I think it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think.
No,
ultimately.
I could
Anyway,
disagree on that one.
if we're going to carry on,
But if you do find anything around your house, Conzo, keep hold of it.
I've like I say, I think I've
Just in
got an
case.
Amiga and I think I've got an N64.
Keep hold of that. Keep hold of them both.
Yeah.
Especially the N64.
I'll just take them to a car boot and give them to some young lad.
Yeah,
Let him enjoy them.
Actually, no,
I'll give
if,
them to Carl
if,
for you.
if you think the price increase, then give them to us. Yeah, because we'll see how much they.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to do that because I'd never use them.
anyway,
I wouldn't want to rip someone
are we
off
gonna
and let them sit there for
esports,
5 minutes
or
waiting
are
for
we
me to
moving-
load up.
Are we ending it?
I think we should talk about esports because esports is
Not a sport.
For a while now.
massive at the
Not a
moment.
sport.
Is it? It's massive.
Not a sport.
Not a sport.
Not a
What
sport.
would constitute a sport then?
There has to be some sort of physical exercise in a sport.
Chess a
Like
sport?
darts.
Or darts is a sport? Or
I don't see.
snooker.
I don't
Snooker
class.
sport.
I don't class darts, snooker. I don't class any of them as a real sport.
Golf.
But what about golf? Yeah.
Golf is a sport because you have got to walk.
That's it.
What if you got a golf cart?
Yeah.
Suddenly it stops
Then
becoming a sport.
you're undertaking a leisure activity.
Really? So
Yeah.
if you were at PGA Master, if you're at the Masters and you weren't walking the course, you were buggy.
All of the players
I
walk.
know, but if they just happened to use buggies one year,
All of the players walk.
It's just
yeah,
a
but if they
stroll.
did
It's
not,
not like
there's
a
no difference there.
It's
is
just
there?
literally a
Does that
stroll.
mean if I run between holes, I actually win because I get in there earlier?
I would say if you run
No,
between
better
holes,
golf.
good on you.
Exactly.
How long is
But the
that?
walking has nothing to
You're
do with
winning
the
more
actual-
sport there. You're more of a sportsman. Absolutely.
The walking has nothing to do with the sport.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't really.
No, it's
Because like
true
we
actually,
said,
Ethan. That
you
is
can
true.
just drive.
You could just
can
drive,
get in a buggy.
or you could get piggybacked.
The
or
walking
you
has
could crawl.
You know, the first person to walk to their hole first isn't going to win, is it?
No.
Exactly. So the walking has nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Yeah, no, that's true. I get that. That's true.
The walking
This
plays,
is- but this
plays
is
no
always
parts in
this
points
is this has
or-
always been a massive bone of contention.
But the reason I call it a sport is because there is physical exercise in it.
But there is physical
well,
exercise
like
in gaming.
snooker.
Because you've got to use your arms,
You've got,
your hands, your
you've got to use
fingers,
your fingers.
your brain.
race driving, race car driving.
That is massively taxing on your body.
F1 is NASCAR ain't.
Yes, it is. That's G-force going round in a circle.
All right, NASCAR.
Yeah.
Not NASCAR. Sorry. Touring cars.
Again.
No G-force.
Yes, there is.
No.
Yes, there is.
No.
There's
Anyway, why don't we
massively-
actually talk about?
Oh no, no. 'Cause what we're trying to do,
esports.
we are trying to just compare what is this because
I
we're
know, but
trying.
it's gone on for
What we're trying to
quite a
do
while
is
now.
because obviously Jim isn't a massive gamer. It's just trying to show Jim that there is a level of skill involved.
Skill, absolutely.
And
Sport, no.
But I would
And
say
physicality. There is a
that
physicality to it as well. Hence why there is an age at which you can't compete in games.
What is the
as much.
I mean, what is the physicality of?
it might be a lot smaller movements. The hand-eye coordination and things, I would say.
But
is-
hand-eye coordination isn't
I would-
exercise because if it was, I would be fit
I
as
would,
fuck.
I would say the best. I would say the best the best esports person
You
is
wanker.
no less skilled than the best
I'm not talking about skill.
like rally car driver.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
there's
skill.
no physicality to rally car driving.
Yes, there is.
To be honest,
there's not.
Jim,
You
I
just-
do agree with
you're
you. I
literally
don't
just driving a car. You're driving it extremely fast and it's scary as fuck and it's very, very difficult and you've got
To
to
be
be
honest,
very
Jim,
quick.
I do
and
agree
things
with
like-
you. I don't.
But
think
there's
it
no
is a sport.
strength or speed or
Yes, there
power.
is.
How? When? How?
Have you ever driven a rally car?
I've driven cars fast
Have
around
you ever
racetracks, yeah.
been in it? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you know all the forces that happen to your body.
Yes, but they're not going. Rally cars generally.
you
the
have to
the
be
reason I said rally car
physically
is because a
fit.
rally car is A to B. You're not going round corners. It's pretty much in a line. It goes for like the each stage, rally stage. It goes from A to B, like from down to up or up to down. You're not going round in loops and figure of eights like Formula One where
No,
there's
but
G-force on the
You're
body.
going up and down curbs up and down jumps and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
you got suspension on the car,
Yeah,
etc. I'm not saying you're not getting bumped
So
around.
let's say then,
There's
let's say then.
physicality to being a race car driver.
But I wouldn't say
Absolutely.
I would say that like you perhaps wouldn't say you're particularly fit. I would say
I'm
that
well
if we,
fit,
but
look
if
at
we,
me.
but I would say if we got into a rally car,
Six-pack of rolls.
I wouldn't be at an advantage to you.
Absolutely, you would.
Not at all. Not in
Yeah.
a rally car. I wouldn't
Yeah.
believe that in a little.
So
in a little
let's
bit.
say this.
Your,
I
your
like
core
it's-
strength would be a lot better than mine.
I don't think
and to be able to sit in-
you've seen you're strapped in with
Yeah,
like
you're
5
strapped-
points
I know
harness.
you're strapped in, but
So let's
you
say
get
then.
thrown around.
Let's say you do
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a virtual reality gaming, but you're like it's the same sort of thing. You're sat in a thing, and every time you're like running around, it feels like you're running. Stuff like that. Would you class that as
No.
sport then? Why? It's the same thing as sitting
It's
in a
not.
car.
It's not at
It's
all.
going up
it's,
down bumps.
It's not. At all, what you're not feeling those bumps. You're not having to brace your body against those bumps.
That's what I'm on about. If they made it a gaming so that
Oh,
when
what,
you're
so you're
gaming,
like
it
in
was
a-
literally like
So you're in one of those things that moves up and down.
yeah,
And
stuff like
if
that.
it's doing the same thing as a car, then yes, then it's sport.
I do agree with you. To be
There's
fair,
a, there's a line to be drawn.
I don't think it is a
but
sport.
Because
but
if
we
it's doing
argue
the same
about-
thing as a car, it's a car.
But I think
Sorry,
things like darts, though. Darts has very little movement, and that is classed as a sport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I have for me, it has to be some sort of exertion.
So darts
And
wouldn't be. A
So
sport.
I don't think.
No, not really. It's a little throw, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a little
Other
throw.
people would.
I know
consider that.
it is a sport,
Other
and there
people
is
consider that a sport.
world championships to it. It's like there is with the esports, there's world champions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
look at them all. They're all fat.
It doesn't class as a
alcoholic.
sport.
But
to me.
they work out with the esports thing, like having a healthy body and a healthy mind.
Not
is like-
all of them do. Most of
A
them.
lot of them do. A lot of the
you-
big champions.
But that's
like,
not to do with the
teams.
actual.
But to
That's
throw
not
it
to do
to
with
throw
the-
it back at you.
That's not to do with what they're doing, is it?
But to throw it back at you, they don't have to. There's no physical demanding
they
need
would,
on
they
them.
would, but that's the reason they would say they do.
But
They
for
would say
what?
that being physically fit is better for the body, it's better for the mind, which makes you a better gamer.
Oh yeah.
Like mind and body and all of that.
But
the whole,
I am
the
not
whole,
fit enough.
To be fair, a
So
lot
that's
of
a
gamers do
psychological
work
thing, not a
out.
physical thing. It's not making them
Um,
physically. It's not making them. They can't press the pad harder. They can't move the joystick.
I don't know. You'd have to.
quicker.
No,
I
I
don't know,
do.
you'd
I
have
do
to ask
agree
them.
with.
You know what I mean? It's-
Jim
what
there.
I'm
I
saying
don't-
is,
exercising doesn't affect anything.
on your consoles, you've got. I mean, I don't know much about esports and what kind of consoles they use and stuff like that. But if you've got like an Xbox, you've got a controller.
Yeah.
I can sit at home and do that, and I
Yes.
am morbidly obese.
Yeah.
What I cannot
That's
do.
same as the race car driver.
Yeah, but I can't do what a race car driver can do.
Neither can I. But if we both got in
Well,
a
you
car,
wouldn't
we
even
would
fit
be
in a car,
equal-
would you?
We would
Exactly.
be.
I wouldn't fit in a car for a start.
We would be equal.
I
That's
would
what
not
I'm
fit
saying.
in an F1 car.
But anyway, what,
But yeah, they're not physically doing anything that I couldn't do.
I don't know. I
But
don't.
then why aren't you a champion esports person? Or do you think you could take them on if you played against them?
I mean, I'm
But
assuming
that-
they've
but
been
that's
playing
skill.
games for that. That's a skill element,
that
but
is the skill, not the.
that's not the physicality of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I could take
But
them on.
there
I'd
is
lose.
reaction times, and there is
Yeah, but it's
a
reaction
different kind of-
times, not just
I mean,
skill.
if the reason, so look at it like this: if
Is it
someone was
physical to have a
playing
good reaction time?
a
Well, yeah,
boxing game,
yeah, you can't learn. You can learn to a
Not
degree.
talk
but you
over
can't-
each other. Sorry,
Sorry.
Ronnie. What were you saying?
I was like, you can't learn faster reactions. You can improve your reactions, but you can't learn to have like superhuman, not superhuman, but very, very. There is a genetic thing to having faster reactions.
And would being physically fitter potentially give you faster reactions?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, there are links
I don't
between physicality for physical health and mental dexterity. There's tons of stuff around that now.
I mean, you do see these esport teams, like the world esport teams, they do have like conditioning drills. Like they'll still have so many hours play. Like it's a massive fallacy that they are sitting in their mum's basement playing video
Not
games
all
12
of them
hours
are,
a day.
though,
No.
because there are quite
I-
a lot that are fat.
Well, what like
Yeah,
proper
but look at
world
the
champions and
positive-
things.
Yeah,
I
a
think
lot
too.
of quite a few Fortnite players are quite chubby and stuff. They don't all work out.
I don't know.
so
perhaps they don't.
my point is, if
Neither do darts
To
players.
say this,
if
to say this, there was a Fortnite kid, literally a kid. I think he was like 12 or something that won it.
Yes, I
He was
saw that.
12.
English guy, wasn't
Yeah, so he's not exactly going to be physically fit, is he? At 12-year-old, he's not going to be
he?
working.
No, but I'm just
out.
saying, is there? I'm not saying obviously being physically fit is going to make the same difference as in running a 100-meter sprint. But what I'm saying is there an edge? Because in these games you're talking milliseconds, like minute things. Is there an edge to being fitter?
Oh,
And
but-
at what point does the physicality
there
not make a
probably
difference?
would be, yeah, but I still wouldn't class it as a sport.
No,
If
Would you know?
no, I
if
don't
a
think
boxer
it's
that played a
sport.
boxing game and he was like the world champion of a boxing game was stood next to Mike Tyson and he went, "Oh, what do you do, Mike?" He goes, "Oh, I'm a boxer." Do you think he'd go, "Oh, me too"? No.
Love it if he did.
You know what I mean?
Love
Oh
that.
yeah, me, I'm a boxer too. Are you?
I knocked
Oh,
you out the other
really?
week.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not. He's not playing a sport.
But anyway, other than
That man there, Ryan Mikes, he's in sports. You know what I'm saying?
but other than a sports, like, what do you think of it like?
I don't.
Have you ever
I'm
watched
gonna.
any esports?
No,
Have you?
I don't tend to watch.
Yeah, well,
People playing
I
video
have watched a little bit of it. I have watched. Yes, I have actually. I watched a Tekken tournament, and I watched a Mortal Kombat tournament. A couple of Mortal Kombat tournaments actually, and I've seen the same guy in the same 3 Mortal Kombat tournaments. Yeah, I can't remember his name now. He's gamer tag. Can't remember his gamer tag, but yeah, same guy that appears in all 3. So he's obviously doing the right thing to get to the finals. But it's the whole sports thing, I suppose, is very difficult, isn't it? Because it's when does something stop becoming a leisure activity or whatever it might be?
As a hobby, wouldn't.
And
well,
then,
I don't know though. When it comes to esports, is
but
it
it's
still a hobby,
but
or is that your career then? Is that not a hobby anymore?
Well, people do it as a job. Yeah, they do it now. But
well, obviously, yeah, with YouTube and
it's
stuff.
having seen people play, like the levels of the game, like seeing you play. You're better than me at most online games. Ronnie is on another level entirely to me when it comes to
played me yet.
when it comes to online shooting games and things like that. And then I see like my friend Carl, his son, he has like a YouTube channel, and I think he does do Twitch. Insane that like his reaction time, seeing some of his videos he puts on Instagram and stuff, his reaction time and being able to shoot it's absolutely massively impressive. And I just think it's so much skill involved. There is so much skill involved. It's very easy to dismiss it until you've played it and you've been one of those people that's maybe played Fortnite or played CS:GO, and you've dropped down in a world and you've lasted 40 seconds and you've been shot by someone you didn't even know was there, and you can't even get in the game because every time you materialize again, somebody takes you out.
What do you think, Ronnie? Because I think, when you're into a game, I think you forget how skilled sometimes you are yourself as well. I'm not trying to be big-headed or right, but when you're playing a game, like I was massive into CS:GO, and I'm so like better at that compared to like Fortnite and stuff like that. Just having that skill and stuff in that game.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely the skill element to it. I mean, I think it's interesting that there are, at the higher ends of the sport, there are less older people, which to me suggests there's not necessarily kind of an arm strength physicality to it, but the mental agility to be able to do the game does deteriorate over time. So there is,
interesting.
I would say on that point, there's probably obviously gaming exploded with like the Xboxes and stuff like that, and then the younger people came in and started doing it with Xbox Ones and stuff like that. The reason there's probably not as many old people doing it is because they had jobs at the time, and it's not something that could necessarily, it wasn't a career path to go in as be a professional gamer.
I think that's a massive thing now, because my brother, he if you asked him now what do you want to do as a job, he'd say I want to be like a YouTube gamer.
Yeah,
because people see it now as a career, don't they?
That wasn't a career path before.
Just having fun and playing a game.
Yeah, with Apex, there's been points where I play several hours of Apex every night. And I get to a competent level where I can do fairly well.
Instead of editing podcasts.
Maybe. But there are still younger people who are just I'm nowhere near being kind of a professional competitive level on it.
There's always going to be someone better than you. That's how I see it. Unless
you're the best.
Just anything.
But there's always somebody.
Even
and
then there's the best.
The most of the people on the server
might be as good. You just were lucky that day.
I said, I watched the Mortal Kombat one, and it was the same guy 3 tournaments in a row that got to the final and won. Same guy.
Mortal Kombat is very, very skill based. Like getting the right.
I know. Yeah, just you do tend to see the same. But this is why I think esports is quite good, because you are legitimately Is there any sport? Is there anything out there? Any sport out there where literally anyone can enter? Anyone can enter. It's like all you need to be. What was that?
Poker.
Yeah, online poker.
They class that as a sport.
Online poker.
Again,
same difference.
There shouldn't.
Skill involved, I suppose, but
that's a pub sport, same as darts and snooker and pool. It's a pub sport.
But there's a massive level of skill involved.
With poker, absolutely.
Yeah. Which with
all of those things, to be honest.
So I would say it's exactly the same with video gaming, except there is also that physicality that isn't there in poker.
So how fast you play your cards?
Video games, reaction times.
Oh, okay.
All of that stuff, like your button combination presses, all of that stuff is hand-eye coordination. You don't need any of that for poker. You just need tactics. Poker. It's like
I don't know. Have you ever seen them messing around with the chips? That's massive.
That's well
that is
impressive.
that is
I love seeing
mad.
that. I love seeing that.
I mean, I can do a few of them, but not a lot, and nowhere near. to
So
that
what are
kind of
your points on watching gaming?
What watching other people
Other
video
than
games?
like watching
I love
esports,
it.
but like watching
if
YouTubers.
it's a game that I like or I'm into, like I'll just randomly like say literally it's the new Mortal Kombat, but recently only because you must remember Mortal
Yes,
Kombat with all the finishes,
Sub-Zero and stuff. Finish
Well,
him.
what the new one now, they really go to town on it. So you can play as RoboCop, you can play as Arnold
209?
Schwarzenegger, Terminator,
Joker,
Rambo,
Love
Alien, Predator, Freddy Krueger,
So lots of throwbacks.
Jason Voorhees,
Voorhees,
Leatherface,
not Voorhees.
Voorhees, yeah, as well as all the original characters.
Yeah.
You've got like they have all these like cool things. You can have RoboCop versus Sub-Zero.
So
Brilliant.
so my question regarding Mortal Kombat from its
Yeah.
original game,
Yeah.
which was one person fighting one person,
Yeah.
with a combination moves.
Yeah.
It still is that. isn't
Other
it?
than new people,
Yeah.
better graphics. What's
Yeah.
changed in that game?
New moves, obviously.
Just new moves.
New moves. There's slightly different, slightly different variances in terms of like the abilities that fighters have, and so you've got your finishers, but then you've also got different sort of super moves that you can do in the game with like cutscenes and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're just sort of like
Just
but
little
that-
bits. Just little.
but that's why like Tekken, you can pick up Tekken 2 now. And you can learn how
For how
to
much?
fight with, you can learn how to fight with Harang,
Who?
Harang, and then you could pick up Tekken 7, and the same button presses do the same moves.
Yeah.
So the new Tekkens and things
So my
almost
question would
haven't
be,
changed that much.
as
Except
to
there's
why
new-
would you
except
then
there's-
buy a new one?
Except there's new characters.
Ah,
Well,
new
you wouldn't
characters.
need to.
Yeah.
People,
But that's like
pure-
the same with FIFA. If you think about that,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
always
yeah,
the
no.
same. Literally the exact
purists
same.
do say that Tekken 3 is the best Tekken game.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair enough.
But FIFA's like that, isn't it? It's the exact same. It's just football. The only
In
thing
fact,
that's changed.
it's even worse if you have a Switch. FIFA on the Switch is literally it's a reskin of the previous version because they don't include any of the new features because of the capacity of the console. It's an absolute con.
Well, that's why you don't get FIFA on a Switch.
That was
It's a
good.
console.
well,
You don't really get like you wouldn't really get FIFA on a PC, would you?
Oh
It's
yeah,
not really that sort. Would
I
you?
play FIFA. I play FIFA on my PC all the time.
Oh,
I mean, I
what
use
I
my
bet you
Xbox
like
controller.
Yeah.
Ronnie, to be honest.
about
So,
you then
You
watching
just
video
support that
games, then,
crap
Jim?
team.
'Cause
That's
You're
what-
obviously the one that like this is all very new to you. You're not really into that sort of thing.
So this is probably coming from someone that, well, it's definitely coming from someone that's not a gamer. It really puzzles me that my kids watch people play the video
I
game.
think we've touched on this
Yeah,
before.
I honestly don't know why. I do.
It's
I
just
get,
an
I get that you might not
enjoyment.
be into it, but I can understand.
That's probably because I'm not into
But
it.
that's like I don't like watching rugby, but I like watching football.
And it's the
Like
same
watching-
with like
Like watching
if I-
golf. Golf puts me to sleep. Watching people play golf literally puts me to sleep.
That's why you watch it.
I
Though.
love
I love
golf.
watching golf. It's so relaxing.
But the
I-
thing is, for all the things that I watch, so when I watch football, I can go out and have been out and had a game of football.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone out and done that. No, I used to be in all the
Jim's
football
pretty
teams.
good. He had a good. Jim always still got a good touch.
I have got a great touch.
Still got a good touch.
what were you,
Rugby.
defender, goalie.
No, I was
still makes
I
the
was
goals.
centre forward and
All
I played
everywhere.
midfield.
Everywhere.
I played rugby to a reasonable level and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I watch those sports on TV because I used to play them. I enjoy them. I don't play games, so I don't watch
Exactly. I
people
think
watch
that's what it is. And with
games.
gaming,
Yeah, I get that.
I don't. I just because gaming's never been a big thing for me. So to sit down and watch someone play a game,
Mm.
I just be like, well, if I want to watch it, I can just go and play it myself.
Mm.
and with gaming, you mainly watch someone like play a game that you're playing at the moment. Usually,
It's usually like for me, it's the level. Like I say, I like watching the Mortal Kombat stuff. I used to like watching the Tekken stuff, people doing all the moves that are really difficult to pull off and things, because it's just watching somebody at the pinnacle of what you're like. I'd like playing Tekken, but I'm not very good at it. I'm all right, and I can do pretty well with a couple of different characters. But to watch someone who can master it, it's like the difference with playing golf. I suppose, but I play it. I suppose,
Yeah.
but like going out and playing golf and then watching somebody
who's literally
smack a
amazing,
tee
yeah.
shot 300 yards down the fairway and then chip onto the green. You know
You
what I
could
mean?
just
It's
watch
like-
me play golf then.
Whoa. Oh yeah.
What about you, Ronnie? Do you watch many YouTube gamers?
So yeah, I do.
Or
I mean, there's a couple of reasons
which?
I'll watch. One is either if like there's a game that I want to play but I can't currently play it because I'm in the middle of doing something else. It's quite easy to have in the background and listen to it. But the other reason as well is probably similar. if it's a game that I am currently playing, you will learn by
Find
watching
the
other people do it.
levels are you stuck on and stuff, isn't it? As
Yeah,
well?
or just,
Yeah,
or
if-
even if like for the competitive game, just see how they approach situations. And like, oh right, so they hide in that corner. Okay, that's interesting. That's I've never
So if
really-
you're using it as a tutorial, then yeah, I understand that. As a tutorial, and then I get it. But
I
for
quite
people
like
that just
watching
watch
new games.
people, so my daughter used to watch someone playing a game that she didn't own. She didn't know. She just
Was
liked.
it because of the celebrity? Was
I
it 'cause
think-
was it like PewDiePie or
I
someone
think
like
it was.
that?
She just liked the interaction. I think it was. She was watching one person play another person in
Yeah.
some open world game, and it was the conversation between those two people.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to, for a lot of people watching games, not a lot of people, for some people watching games, they're listening to it. Same as people listening to this. They're listening to an interaction
It is
between
the
people,
interaction. Yeah, I
because
get
we're
that.
social creatures.
Yeah.
But it's also though a lot of it is discovery as well. If there's a game I kind of may vaguely be interested in, I'll hop on Switch for an hour or two and see other people playing it to see whether it's something I think I'll enjoy.
Yeah, that's a research thing. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
I get that. I get
Yeah, I
the
like
research, the
that.
tutorial, the explaining of a level. If you're stuck on a level, I get that. It's just the
If you ever
just a
watch
game you
guys,
can't afford, you want to watch as well.
Oh, yeah,
or not afford, just haven't got yet, and you're
I
like,
can understand that. It's just
Yeah.
people like my daughter's watching games.
have you two,
it
Ethan
boggled me.
and Ronnie, have you ever watched like a YouTuber playing a game because it's the personality that you like? So
Yeah.
you
Oh,
follow
yeah,
that person,
definitely.
and not necessarily because you enjoy the game, but just because it's that person playing that particular
Yeah.
game. Or
100%, yeah.
Doctor
Did we-
Disrespect is a huge character for me.
yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, like or
Dr. Disrespect.
PewDiePie isn't really. I wouldn't say he used to be a massive gamer, but just the way he was when he played
Wasn't
games and stuff. And
KSI a gamer as well.
KSI played FIFA. That's how he started. Massive FIFA gamer.
So
stuff
it
like
is
that.
massively, and that's how Twitch started. I know the Twitch is used to do loads of stuff now, but it started as watching people play video games live. It was basically the Babe Station of video games.
Well,
You
you
watch
could-
people play video games live, and you could send them money. Yeah,
Why would you
support them
send them money?
just to support them. It's like
Yeah,
because
so
you
it's
love
to
their
sub-
content,
So how you know you can
and
subscribe?
they'll
enough.
give you a shout out when they're playing
So you
or
can
whatever.
subscribe to free on YouTube, but to subscribe to a channel on
Twitch.
Twitch, you have to pay.
Why?
Do you?
Yeah. To subscribe, you can follow them for free.
Is
Oh,
there
okay.
different
But to
content?
subscribe.
Is there different content? Are you
No,
paying for
it's
additional?
just to give.
Is it like a
Some
Patreon?
people
sort of thing?
will do just stuff for their subscribers.
Oh, right.
But also,
So-
there's often like with the chat, it'll highlight who's a subscriber, so they may be more likely to respond to people who are subscribers, or they might even have like a subscriber-only chat. So
Interaction.
you have to subscribe to
Right.
people to talk to them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah. Cool.
So I listen to it. I don't listen to a lot of it, but I like when I'm relaxing, we'll listen to ASMR. There are some ASMR artists that do live Twitch, like live ASMR on Twitch. So they'll be
Twitch is just a massive thing.
Isn't
people-
just ASMR just someone talking really?
It could be lots of
It
stuff.
can
It could
be
be someone
lots of different
eating,
stuff.
eating
Yeah, it
into a
can-
mic.
all sorts of different
just
stuff.
That
the
would be
noises.
that would be the worst thing in the world. Someone eating.
Depends
oh my
what they're
God.
eating.
No, but it's just the noises. I think it's.
I can't remember what it actually
satisfying.
stands.
Relaxing.
What
It
it
stands
stands
for
not eating.
asexual.
We both
medium
worked in a
response.
call center, John. We
Yeah.
both worked in a call
I know.
center. How many people did you hang up on because they were eating down the
I
phone?
know, yeah.
Not eating, but
I don't like the eating.
Oh.
I like the whispering. I like people talking. I like people whispering.
I mean, you can
saying
just give me a
things.
call at night. You don't have to pay for it, mate. I'll just.
Oh, I don't pay for it.
Oh, okay.
It's on
I was
YouTube.
gonna say you're on that Babe Station again. Just whisper to me.
Yeah, just whisper.
Sorry, Ronnie, I'll cut you off then. What were you going to say?
I think it stands for asexual medium response. Is what ASMR stands for.
It's the tingles you get. It's
a-
all about
it's a
tingles.
tingle.
You know when you like someone would whisper in your ear, and you go, oh, you get like a tingle down your back. You'd be like, oh, what's
Shiver
that?
down your spine, yeah.
A shiver down your spine. Yes, it's that. It's like trying to recreate those shivers and tingles.
In fact, it's
Um,
like you know when you're watching golf and you see if you find it quite relaxing, that is basically a kind of an ASMR response. You're watching golf, you're not
yes,
actively
yes.
watching it. You're literally
Yeah.
being relaxed, and you have that relaxing sensation by watching somebody else doing something that you're not actually.
It's the
doing yourself.
relaxing, but it's mainly that sort of. And for some people it's different because some people it doesn't work at all. Some Rach doesn't like it at all.
I
Just
can't
get into
stand
it. Yeah, some people do. So for some people it might be when you get to the hairdresser to get your hair washed. It's that very relaxed soporific effect that you might get from an interaction with someone, whether they're just sort of like slowly whispering in your ear, or whether they're like cutting your hair. Like some people that get their hair cut because there's somebody like.
It's the noise of the clippers.
And the
So-
noise of the clippers, yeah.
so what's just gone
it's
through
that
my-
soporific.
So I
sort
have
of
this
like
thing on TikTok.
relax.
Hang on, sorry. So what's just gone through my head? You listen to the whisper people.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's got to call back to something that made you have those tingles originally. That then you say you're trying to recreate. Is that someone walking into your bedroom going, "John, this is just between you"?
Don't tell anyone.
This is our little secret, John.
Oh,
Yeah, it was your
tingles.
dad. It was your dad.
Was it my dad?
Yeah. It's not a flashback thing, I suppose. It's just some people it does, and sometimes you'll be listening, it won't. It's like certain things will and certain things won't. Can be very visual as well. I like watching people like touching the screen.
Oh, okay.
If people are talking the thing and touching the screen,
the visual.
and you're in a dark room and watching it, I find that very, very relaxing.
I didn't know if this
So
is ASMR.
Sorry.
Sorry, you go, mate.
No, it's all right. You can go.
Okay. I don't know if this is ASMR, but you know when things fit perfectly into something else. So
Yeah.
there's videos and something just drops straight
Yeah.
in. It fits perfectly.
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah, you see them on Lab Bible, do them all the time, relaxing videos
I
of
like-
somebody jet
I like-
washing a patio or something.
Yeah, I like that, but I won't.
So
sit there and watch it.
like, I follow someone on TikTok that's like this. It's like I'll show you the videos after. It's like sand, and the way like
Yeah,
just
just
takes
sand.
sand and mashes it up and all
Yeah.
the sound it makes and stuff. It's just
Yeah, some
Well
people like
relaxing.
stuff like that.
Okey-doke.
But then as you're watching like ASMR, you get to you keep watching the same people, and then they start to become like a personality. So you like them because it's that person.
So
So
I
it's
suppose ASMR is a relatively new thing, but it's not because music would be
Yeah,
ASMR.
there's it would have been back in the anything
'Cause-
like that. Gongs, gong baths.
But people
Um,
literally sit down, put on some, soft jazz.
Yeah.
Relax, drinking a whiskey
Yeah,
and whatnot. But,
anyway. I think we got off topic again there.
No. Well, yeah, I suppose we have. We were just talking about video
I thought we should
gaming
have
online.
put
Twitch.
someone on to bring us, on track. But
So VR.
Yeah, you were supposed to bring us on track.
I'm
This was
bringing
a
it back
very
on
long
track.
one, by the way.
It's all right. People love us.
well, we did spend a good
I mean, it's been
40
over
minutes
2 hours.
discussing Pokemon and arguing
know,
about
yeah.
arguing about
People like
rarity and
these-
It's been
these
about over 2
discussions are
hours.
important. Let's talk about VR very briefly then, because that's where the way the world is going to. Has anybody had any experience with
I've got those
VR
VR headset. I've got a VR headset.
headsets?
Which
but
one?
Not
What calm one? The
not
one you put your phone in.
yeah, not an Oculus or anything like that.
The one you just put your phone in.
The one you put your phone in. Yeah.
I've had it go on an Oculus. Yeah, they're
I've not had to go on
incredible.
one of them, but I've had
Oculus porn's amazing.
it. Is it?
I knew you'd say that.
I haven't actually done the porn, but
Well, you haven't done it, but you've watched it.
I haven't watched it. No, I haven't watched it.
No, I bought them for the girls, and you just put your phone in it, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it
they're
was a
brilliant.
Jungle Book, and it was literally you
Yes.
could look around, and I
Yeah.
thought that was incredible. And that's just plonking your phone in one of those headsets.
we did one, didn't we, Ronnie?
Oh yeah, for my not for mine, for the Fishergaddon when we got rained off. So we went to it's brilliant. I think when they got 3 of the 4 rigs running, so they were doing 3 of us at a time. But it was pretty incredible. I loved it. I mean, there's also, there's at some point we do have to go to zero latency in Nottingham, assuming it survives lockdown, which is basically virtual reality, but in a very large kind of warehouse space where you can physically run around, and you will have like
Wow.
guns. So there is that kind of the physical element to it, and obviously the game knows where the walls are, so there are walls where there are walls, so you're never going to run into anything or another person because you can see them, but you can literally run around levels in virtual reality.
Well, has anyone seen the film Hackers
Yes.
with Angelina Jolie and
Yes.
John Lee Miller? So the bloke that's
Cracker,
the baddie in that, he's on a VR thing,
Yeah.
isn't he? And that
Yeah.
that was years ago, but that was what I thought VR would
So
be.
the Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man as well.
Mm.
You know,
Well, if you're going to talk about VR,
you're on a
films,
trackpad.
Ready
Ready
Player
Player
One.
One. Like that's literally what they think the future will be, won't it? for
Yeah,
VR?
but you're on like a trackpad, so you can run around on this trackpad,
Yes.
and you're harnessed in, so you're not going to fall
That's
over.
literally on.
That is what they're like now.
See,
Some of them,
yeah,
that is what they're like now, some
never
of them.
played on them, never done
They
anything like that.
genuinely are. So just to expand on what we like when me and Ronnie went to this one, there was a couple of different games you could do. Some of them were okay. Some of them were a bit like gimmicky, but the best one was literally zombies. It was like Call of Duty zombies. So you're in a house. Zombies are attacking the house. There's 3 of us all in this house, so we can see each other. And you can't move around in terms of like walking anywhere. So what you had one hand was like a controller and another controller in the other hand. So your left hand was you'd press a button and point it out, and you'd see like a little cursor appear on the screen. You take your finger off the trigger, and that's where you'd materialize. So that was you moving around.
I see. I'd hate that.
And then the other one was obviously your gun. And so where you
Yeah.
move it was your gun would move on screen, and as you turned your head, it was incredible. So you could walk up to the edge of the house.
Other than the walking bit, that sounds really good. I'd rather have
yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
yeah.
trackpad. Yeah.
where
Yeah,
you can walk yourself.
That was just how they could get it to work.
Yeah.
Like thingy. But you could get your gun and you could lean out of the window as they were trying to bang the door down and like shoot them out
Yeah.
the door. I put the gun in my own mouth. You could literally turn the gun around and put it into your own mouth. It was, and you'd hear something, you turn around, there'd be a guy behind you, shoot him.
So when
and
you're
it was utterly amazing.
so when you're playing this, are you playing it in first person? So you're goggles
You're
or
the
your eyes,
person,
or
You're
yeah.
first person. Complete. Oh yeah, it only works in first person
Okay.
VR.
VR wouldn't work in
I was
first.
going to say
Yeah.
it'd be stupid to do.
It is very, very. It's almost that you can almost get away as well with not having sort of the level of graphics that you get in a game now.
Well, if it's that interactive, yeah,
because
you would.
because it's so immersive. It's
Yeah.
so and it's quite the zombie one quite scary as well. It's like it's the most realistic type zombie experience other than like the zombie
An actual
mansions and
zombie
stuff like that. Yeah,
That we're going to get soon, hopefully.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So
Well, I mean, the interesting, I mean, like kind of linking back to one of our previous podcasts when we talked about social media, the interesting thing is knowing that Facebook owns Oculus. They bought Oculus. So they obviously see virtual reality going in a direction that isn't just gaming as well.
yeah,
What was the one that was owned by Samsung? The VR stuff that was owned by Samsung.
well, it wasn't Oculus. Was that Oculus?
that
I thought that
Oculus?
might have been Oculus. You know,
I think so.
Well, Facebook have a 360 thing now, don't they? So you can take like photos and videos at 360.
They've also got this
Wow.
thing called Portal, which is just incredible.
yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before.
Yeah. it is
Oh,
incredible.
the Samsung Gear VR was powered by Oculus.
There we go. Yeah, I thought that was some sort of
Yeah.
Oculus because that was a big thing back, back
But
when it
that-
came out.
That's the way. I mean, other than VR, I don't know
What
where else they can go.
I love about VR is I don't know if you've ever seen the video of Ronnie O'Sullivan playing VR snooker.
No.
He leant over to lean on the table and fell on his face.
You do it. You want us to do it. So when we first did the experience, didn't we, Ronnie? Did you do the building
The
one?
drop. Yeah, I think
Drop.
everyone, it's like kind of everyone's introduction to VR is the drop, whatever it's called. Yeah.
So you start off. You're in an elevator. You
Yeah.
go up the elevator. It opens up, and you're like on the outside of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
And you're walking along. It's very small because obviously you're just walking on things, so you can actually walk. You're walking along the outside of the building. You can look around and everything, and then you walk out on a little girder, and you jump off the edge.
Love it.
Like they say you could. And the amount of people, I think we all did, didn't we?
that
you all-
stuttered.
You don't know what you don't want to do it, or they say you don't have to do it if you don't want. And Carl wouldn't do it. He's like, I can't do it. Don't want to jump off.
Do you think that's a fear of heights? Because it's so realistic.
It's your
Yeah.
brain tells you it's
Yeah.
real. So you jump off it and then you fall over
Yeah.
because you've just jumped off the side of a fucking building, but you haven't jumped off the side of a building. It to see someone do it is hilarious because obviously you're seeing people like
Yeah.
lean over.
Yeah.
But it's like me now putting my hand on this table. It's like your brain tells you that it's there. It's
Yeah.
the most surreal experience. But
I am
so
look-
good.
To be honest, I'm not, as we've discussed through this, I'm not a massive gamer, but VR gaming,
You just
where
want VR porn.
who doesn't? But
With the dolls, will you get the dolls?
oh man, you
You can
stop.
buy a VR porn doll.
They do have VR porn
Oh,
dolls.
talking
wrong.
about
have you not
porn,
seen
no.
them?
No.
talking about porn dolls. Did you see that bit of news recently about these sex dolls you can buy? It's like silicon type things.
That's what they are.
Oh yeah,
VR
yeah. They've been out
dolls.
for quite a while, haven't they?
Yeah,
Those-
but
But
in
these ones are
America.
realistic that can talk.
oh no,
What?
I'm not talking about them. What's happening is there's a big call because people are abusing these dolls and they're being sent back and they're just being wrecked. Like people are taking out anger stuff on them and they're saying that these dolls are causing male aggression to get worse and worse because there's no repercussions. That was completely off
Interesting,
topic, but it was in the
interesting.
news recently. and it made me-
Or is
yeah.
it like video games? Is people getting their aggression out because they can't do it in the real world and they can't do it with a real woman, and
Maybe.
they know they can't do it with a real woman.
But then if they're doing it and they're
So it's the
they're getting
same
away with
thing.
it,
So
then-
I would say it's the same thing. So as soon as I started playing Red Dead Redemption, the first thing I tried to do, not the first thing, but I'm like, you're walking along and your friend is there, whatever his name is.
You
Is
tried
it-
to
is
kill
it
him, didn't
Dutch?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to. You can't do that in real life. So you're walking like Grand Theft Auto. You're walking down the street. And you're like, I'm just going to see if I can shoot the shopkeeper.
Yeah.
It's because you can't do it in real life, and you perhaps wouldn't do that to a real girlfriend. But then suddenly you're given this avatar of a girlfriend, and
But
you're like,
I'm not talking
gonna
about
do
an
what the fuck I
avatar.
want.
I'm talking about
well,
these
that's what I mean. An
silicon-
avatar
yeah,
is in,
yeah,
as in
sorry,
like
yeah.
a facsimile
like a
of
sex doll. yeah.
a person. You're like, well, I can do all the things that I feel like fucking doing without any of the repercussions of society.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the object. It's like saying I'd go beat the shit out of a punch bag to get my aggression out.
Yeah.
Well, put a face on that punch bag. Does that make it a person? Because you get them punch bags that are torsos.
You get the one that
Is that a human?
you get the one
Is
that's
that a
got what's
torso?
it Paul's face on that Ben Askren's been hitting.
Exactly.
Anyway,
But yeah, it was
going
just
on
in the
top-
news recently.
Oh,
But
yeah,
no,
interesting.
I would quite happily start playing
Buy a sex
games
doll.
if I could be on a trackpad, walk around, and
Yeah.
be fully immersed. I
Fully
think that'd be
immersed.
incredible.
It does take it to a new level.
You know, especially if you play like a war game and you're jumping in bloody
You get, like, a gun,
bunkers and
it's
stuff.
Like the
VR
early
gun.
episode of Always Sunny.
But you know, I mean, that would
be
be incredible.
If you could
I
join
would-
it with your friends, do that online.
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be
imagine
amazing.
You'd never. This is the thing. You'd never go back to reality. You'd never want
Well,
to.
that is what literally Ready Player One is, isn't it? It's like that's their world.
That's their world, yeah.
Yeah.
Because their real world is just full of junkyard.
yeah.
but yeah, that side of gaming I'd probably get more involved with.
Ready Player 2's out soon, isn't it?
I don't have a clue.
Ronnie?
I don't know actually.
Didn't know they were making one.
Yeah, I think so. Sure they were.
Right. Anyway, we should wrap up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Is there anything else we've missed? No.
I mean, amazing.
we've
We've not actually talked about like the controversy of does video games cause violence? That's like a
Well,
massive
no.
topic.
Does it? I would argue not even a little bit.
I would say not.
I would argue if there's something like anything like that, if there's something weird going on, it might very well trigger someone to do something a bit weird that would have probably already done it anyway.
Yeah, I would
But-
say it's very similar to when we were talking about films and horror
Yeah.
films. Very similar.
Has anybody here ever done anything to hurt somebody else because they saw it did it in a video game?
No.
Has anybody know anybody that done something simply because it was in a video game and they wouldn't have done it otherwise?
I would say
No.
not really. Other than once I did shoot a copper, steal his car, pick up a prostitute, and kill her.
Yeah,
But
but
other than
that's
that,
just
Did
Saturday
you do the
night.
prostitute before
That's
you
just
killed
a,
her?
that's just a standard.
Did you do the prostitute before you killed her, or did you just take her?
Oh no, just killed her.
Just killed her
Yeah,
and then did her.
and then did her. I do like a semi-warm. And on that note, we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
Anything to add on that, Ronnie?
Yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, I think there is the other connection that people who are inherently violent are going to be more drawn to violent video games. So just because
Very true.
a violent person played
Yeah,
a
but that's
violent
like
video game.
Very,
I mean,
very true.
there probably is a correlation. So if you look at people who have done mass murderings, you will probably find out a lot of them do play violent games, not because the games made them violent, but because they were violent people who wanted to play games.
Yeah. So they're probably into all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah, but that's not gaming, is it? That's causing that.
That's
No,
not what
exactly.
he's
It's not.
saying.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
causing it,
It's just to the
they're
media.
enjoying
You
that,
might say,
yeah.
look, this person who did the shooting before doing that shooting, he also then went and played this.
It's
this
exactly
violent
what
video
we just
Like you're saying, it's just getting your anger out.
what we were just watching earlier.
I forgot the name.
Bowling for Columbine.
Bowling for
It's
Columbine.
it's extrapolating, isn't it? So blame Marilyn Manson for a high school shooting. What did these kids listen to? They listened to this. We don't like the look of that guy.
Get rid
That
of it.
must be why it
Yeah.
happened. It's just shit extrapolation. It's crap maths. It's like Ronnie's just said. There's a million reasons why people do something, but you can't take
Just
that
'cause it
1% of people that do something bad and also happen to also like rock music or snuff movies or violent video games, and then take away the other 90% of people that love a good snuff movie,
Snuff
and then-
movie.
snuff movie, Smurf movie, and never kill their partner.
But they're just
Yeah.
trying to have it. They don't want to admit that someone could just be
No,
They don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit there's a bigger problem to face.
Yeah.
And
They
the
want
problem is
something
mental
quick-
health.
Something quick
So-
to blame.
Yeah, mental health is the issue, not the video game.
I'd
It's
agree
like,
with that.
I'm pretty sure 100% of murderers drink water.
Shit, are you trying to tell me that if I start drinking
You
council
could be a
pop,
murderer too.
I'm gonna start killing people? Motherfucker!
I love a bit of council pop.
I love a council pop.
Anyway, let's wrap it up now. I think we've gone on for a while.
Do,
If you-
do your thing then.
if you enjoyed this video, then obviously do leave a like, subscribe, and if you're on,
If you watch the
podcast
video,
stuff, download it so you can listen to it in your car. Or I don't know what you do with it, or subscribe or whatever.
take us to bed. I
Please
would.
please do give us your opinion on our little debate that we had that lasted for about 50 minutes.
Yeah.
it
Do you
seemed.
do you think esports is a sport? Do you think that the collection of video games, consoles, and things will diminish in the future? Do you think that the bubble is going to burst on Pokemon cards? Let us know.
Just
Hit us up on Instagram.
and let us know what other topics you want us to talk about.
We might do something like hobbies. I think hobbies would be quite a good one.
Hobbies.
Hobbies.
Oh, there.
Does that mean I can talk about
I
computer games?
thought we were going to do board games as well.
We
Oh
will
yeah.
also do board games.
Board games would be quite interesting. To
I
do.
think once we're able to film and all be in the same room playing a board game
Oh,
and doing a chat would be a
shit.
good
We
one.
could do a Dungeons and Dragons episode.
I've never played
I've
Dungeons
Never
and
played
Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Never
I'd
How
played it.
cool would
fucking
that be? I'd love
love to play Dungeons and
We
Dragons.
could play
We could do the
Shogun.
Mansions one. What's the Mansions one, John? Do you remember the
Mansions
Mansions
of
game?
Madness. Yeah,
That's
Mansions of
an
Madness is
amazing
brilliant.
board game.
What about Shogun? Ever
I've
played
never,
Shogun?
I've never played Shogun.
Oh, it's
You
amazing.
have played Mansions of Madness, so that is technically Dungeons and Dragons.
I also think
It's
a
not.
a
Is it
good
not?
one to good podcast to do would be is for again it'll probably have to be when we can all get together and sit around,
Which might be
It's-
soon.
which might be soon. Would be to play the card game.
Uno?
Poker.
No,
Pokemon.
Cards Against Humanity.
that's the one.
That'd be a good
Nice.
one as well.
a nice
We could do a
card game
poker. We
humanity.
could do a poker podcast as well.
poker one. I mean, once we can all get together, it'd be fantastic.
I think you should try and play Pokemon.
We could all, yeah. I'll tell you what.
Well, Ethan can teach us Pokemon.
If we
Well, I don't
do
play it,
one
so
on
it's
hobbies, I think it'd be very, very good for us to all experience
We
each
should
other's
definitely
hobbies.
do different stuff like that instead of just sitting talking. We should have
Mine's
add
habitual
stuff to it.
masturbation.
I'm game.
All right, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
Mine's eating until I
Let's just wrap it
die.
up there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Right.